This SMMA course is going to change your life forever. There's no catch. Literally execute what I'm about to teach you in this course and you will land high-paying clients for your agency. During the course, I'm going to be outlining an insanely valuable roadmap to get you from 0 to 6 figures, multi-6 figures, and even 7 figures with your agency. My name is Dylan, and 3 years ago, I started my very own agency with zero experience. Fast forward to now, and I'm doing regular 50K months just a few years down the line. But less about me, this video is to give you the tools and foundation to scale your agency as fast as humanly possible. If you're currently growing an agency or thinking about starting one, make sure to hit that subscribe button because there's going to be a ton more valuable content like this in the coming weeks. Anyway, let's get straight into the course. Okay, ground rules. We're going to cover a little bit of foundational knowledge here. We're going to cover things like what's covered in the course, mindset, success habits. So let's get straight into it. But before we get started, not only am I going to give you this really valuable course that you could go away and land X amount of clients with and really scale your agency. There's going to be a ton of value, but I appreciate that your time on YouTube is very sought after and it's a valuable commodity. So I'm going to sweeten the deal for you. So not only will I be giving you insane value in this course, there's actually going to be a very valuable prize. So within the course, I've hidden a very discreet CTA, and this could be absolutely anything. This could be email this email address a certain keyword. It could be shoot me a keyword on Twitter. It could be literally anything, and it's going to be very easy to miss and could literally be 2 or 3 seconds within any given slide. And whoever completes the CTA will get a very hefty reward, and we're going to get into what that reward is now. I don't want to stay too long on this or put too much time into this because it's literally just an added extra to sweeten the deal for whoever actually goes through the course and does it in detail. But again, it literally could be anything, and it's going to be a little couple of seconds in a secret slide throughout the course. It could be anywhere. So whoever completes the CTA, and it's not limited to one person, I'm going to be giving this to a few people that have genuinely gone through the course and have executed and actioned a lot of the resources and teachings in the course. So the reward will be a 60-minute agency roadmap call. That's full access to all of my products. That's agency mastery, GHL mastery, AI mastery, and various other products as well. It's a full client acquisition system build out that you and my team are going to execute and create. It's access to agency team members, so whoever sends this CTA or does the CTA will get access to all of my agency network. I will literally insert team members into their agency. You'll get access to a mastermind community with 100+ entrepreneurs, and you'll get access to my agency case studies to go ahead and help you land those first 3 to 5 clients. So this is really just an extra added motivation to watch this course in detail, go through every slide, because if you do that anyway, you will be well on your way to landing clients. However, this is just a little cherry on top. I'll be giving a secret prize away to a few people that go through it in detail and find this CTA. So let's get straight into it. As I mentioned, all you have to do is watch this course. There's going to be so much value here you will not believe. So I urge you to watch the course very meticulously, and hopefully you will find that CTA and execute it and get those added prizes. So what we're going to cover thinking like a millionaire, how you can actually create successful habits and create a millionaire mindset. SMMA basics, the basics of SMMA, why it's such a good opportunity to get in now. The agency build out process, why the agency build out process is so important, and what you need to do to get your foundations in place to actually go ahead and land clients. Sales mastery, obviously sales is the name of the game. If you're not good at sales, then what is the point of booking sales calls in the first place, because you're not going to land very many clients. Client acquisition, then what processes do we use to actually go out there and land the clients? And then service delivery, obviously getting those clients results. That's really important. Something people forget about a lot of the time. Service delivery is very important. You need to get your clients great results and have low churn. And then we're going to look at scaling to $10,000 per month, how it's not as difficult as you may think, and it's very much a numbers game. So let's get into it. Before we start, your time is limited, as I mentioned before, and I'm not here to go on about pointless BS and give you all fluff. This is going to be very to the point. There's going to be no fluff. Everything in this is going to be super valuable and super concise, and I will exclusively address the crucial and valuable components of SMMA to propel your agency towards a 6 and 7 figure business, pinpointing the most significant obstacle preventing your desired progress. So let's get into it. There are 2 types of people, and you are one of them right now. There are 2 types of people that are going to watch this video on YouTube, and they are as follows. Person A. Person A is going to watch this course. They're going to watch this training, these resources. They're going to take that knowledge and they're going to turn it into a success. And then there's person B, who's going to be doing the exact same thing. They're going to be watching this course. They're going to be consuming this knowledge, absorbing this knowledge, and they're actually going to be a failure. They're not going to do anything with it. They're not going to go anywhere. They're going to go and watch some sort of other video, a movie, Netflix, a music video, whatever it may be. So I want you to think about that. Right now, you're watching this video, whether it's in North America, whether you're in Asia, whether in Europe, in the UK, wherever it may be. You're watching this video right now, and somewhere else in the world, someone else is watching this exact same video. They have the exact same tools as you. They have everything the same at their disposal. However, one of you is going to be a failure and one of you is going to be a success. So what I want you to do is I want you to decide which person are you going to be. Which person are you going to be? That's really, really important here. Because if you're on the fence, if you're not all in on this, I've got some breaking news for you. You're not going to go very far. You need to be all in this, and you need to be person A. You need to be person A. You need to consume this knowledge. You need to absorb this knowledge, and you need to be going after success. You do not want to be person B. And unfortunately, the reality is 90% of people watching this video are going to be person B. So that's why I want to make this crystal clear. I'm giving you all the tools. I'm giving you all the knowledge. This course alone can get you your first 5 to 10 clients, but you need to have the foundations in place from a mindset perspective. You need to realize that you need to be person A. You can't be person B. You cannot be person B. Even if you've been person B in the past, you need to really commit to absorbing and consuming this knowledge and taking action and executing. And every single day, you are focused on moving the needle and getting results. Really, really important. Okay, now I want to talk a little bit about my journey. So back in 2020, here's a photo of me on the left, not even looking at the camera. I'm out of my mind drunk here, and I don't even know what's going on around me, as far as I don't even know that there's a photo being taken. I'm 23 years old. I'm working as a real estate appraiser after graduating from university, and I'm extremely unfulfilled. I'm ambitious, but I'm directionless. I've always been entrepreneurial, but I've never really known what direction I wanted to take back when I was 23. And this is my starting point. And a lot of you may relate to this. A lot of you may be in similar situations where you're kind of weekend warriors. You're not really sure what direction you're going in. You don't know where you're going in life. You're feeling very, very unfulfilled. You're probably working a job you don't like. And you've tons of goals. You've tons of goals and ambitions, and you're not really sure how you're going to realize them. And this was me back in 2020 at 23. And this is where a lot of people start. And ultimately, I was able to, 4 years later, become this person, 27 years old, celebrating 40, 50K months, filled with clarity and purpose, and on the path to 100K months. My goal this year is to get to 100K a month across all of my different ventures and businesses. And it's taken me 4 years. It's taken me 4 years to put in the habits, put in the work, build the entrepreneurial characteristics that allows you to get the kind of success like 40 or 50K months. And every single day I get up with enthusiasm, with excitement. I'm very fulfilled by my work. And that is essentially where you want to get to. That's the point you want to get to. You want to be filled with clarity and purpose and know exactly what direction you're going in. And the little wins and goals that you achieve give you that little burst of energy and happiness and fulfillment. And that's essentially the route you want to go on. But it's a journey. And it's taken me 4 years to get to this point. And I am not done by any means. I am not done at all. I have a ton of huge goals that I want to achieve in the next 2, 3, 5, 10 years. However, this should act as a little bit of motivation to you, because 4 years ago, I was where you are and feeling very, very unfulfilled, had no direction, knew I wanted to do something, whether it was in business or entrepreneurship, but had very, very little direction. And then I made the commitment, I jumped into the agency space, and I got to work. I put in 3-4 years of really, really hard work, and that's what allowed to get me to the point where I am the person on the right. So hopefully that is a little bit of motivation, and you can relate to this. You can relate to the journey I've been on, because it's probably a journey you want to go on or something you want to strive to be. So remember, we all have a starting point. It's just about committing, taking action and executing and putting in that consistent work that will allow you to get to your desired goals. So hopefully that is relatable for everyone watching. So how do we change? Firstly, it's not by skipping this part. That's really, really important. Skipping mindset is a very, very bad thing to do. Because let me try and put this in a clear perspective for you. You are where you are now in life, whether that be working a 9 to 5 you don't like, whether that be unhappy with your commitment to your job and your boss is an asshole and you've no location freedom or time freedom and you're just unhappy. Most people watching this will feel some sort of unhappiness or some sort of sense of unfulfillment. And that's why you're watching this video. You want to make money online, you want to grow a business, you want to get to a desired outcome or a desired goal. So that is where you are right now. You don't get to that desired outcome, that desired goal, by skipping all the mindset, by skipping all the habits, by skipping all the foundational knowledge. Because your current habits, your current mindset, your current knowledge is what has got you to where you are now. So it makes absolutely no sense skipping these really, really important lessons and principles in terms of building a bulletproof mindset, changing your habits, learning how to think like a millionaire. Skipping all of that because you want to get to the secret sauce, you want to get to the juicy stuff in terms of landing clients, service delivery, like all that numbers and 10K per month and 20K per month. That does not happen without you creating successful habits and building a killer mindset. So if your mindset is to skip past this part, then I highly, highly recommend that you do not do that, because that is the first barrier. That is the first barrier you break down, and your person or your characteristics would have done that. But you are not that person anymore. You want to become an extremely successful person. You want to become an extremely successful entrepreneur. And extremely successful entrepreneurs do not take shortcuts. They do not skip out. They do the hard work. They do the hard graft, because that is how you turn into a successful entrepreneur. So we must mold our way of thinking. We must mold our way of thinking to do the dirty work, do the hard work, change the way we would have done in the past, which is shortcuts, which is taking the easy way out. We don't do that anymore. Successful entrepreneurs do not take the easy way out. So we must mold our way of thinking. We must create killer daily habits, because ultimately our daily habits is what's going to get us to our desired outcome. We want to do little micro daily habits that, done over time and compounded, will get us our desired result. And we want to really, really nail in repetition and consistency. Repetition and consistency are two vital components of owning an agency. You need to be repeating the same hard work every single day, and when you don't get the results you're after, you need to be consistent. You need to repeat and be consistent, and that comes with outreach, landing clients, service delivery, whatever it may be. Those two components are super, super important when running an agency. So non-negotiables. Here are a few non-negotiables that when starting your business, you really need to make peace with and you really need to execute. So when I started my business, I was working a 9 to 5. I was working as a real estate appraiser, and I would have to get up very, very early and be very, very meticulous and careful with my time. So I would get at 6 a.m. and do a couple of hours on my agency before I started my 9 to 5. And then when I would finish at 5 or 6, I would do a couple of hours and work along into the night. I was also sacrificing seeing my friends at the weekends and going out drinking and bullshitting and doing all this kind of stuff. I was sacrificing this massively, and this can be tricky if you're young, if you're in your teens or if you're in your early 20s. This is obviously a massive part of being a young person socializing, but these are sacrifices you're going to have to make, because I can tell you one thing, and I can guarantee you one thing: you're not going to do a lot of outreach, you're not going to grow a lot of clients and build your agency when you're hungover. That is just not going to happen. I missed out on holidays and trips away with my families and friends. I was constantly reading and educating myself whenever I could. So self-development is massive, and you need to be on the ball, reading books about outreach, sales, service delivery, the latest ads, Google, Facebook. You need to be constantly self-educating. And I wasn't drinking or heading to bars or pubs like a lot of people my age. So you need to make peace with this fact that you're now an entrepreneur. You are a business owner. So you need to behave like a business owner. And if you're half in, half out and kind of not really giving it your full attention, well, you're going to get half in, half out results. And that's really, really important. So these are your non-negotiables. And this is the bare minimum if you want to commit to this and do well. And you've got to think long term. Your agency won't grow overnight. Your results aren't going to be instantaneous. You need to put in the work and it will compound. And after you get your first client, your second will come a lot quicker, and then your third and fourth and fifth, it compounds. So remember, your agency is not going to grow overnight. The only thing that will result in success is hard work. You cannot substitute hard work. You cannot replace hard work. You're literally going to have to show up every single day and put in the work. It's as simple as that. Know that you'll have to make sacrifices. We've touched on this in the previous slide, and this is going to be very, very tough, but you have to decide, why am I doing this in the first place? And we're going to get into that a little bit later, how powerful your why is, but you have to make sacrifices. Model yourself on entrepreneurs you admire. So who do you look up to in the space? Is it Tony Robbins? Is it Gary Vee? Who is it? You know, is it Jeff Bezos? It can be anyone. Model yourself on the entrepreneurs. Look into them. Look into their daily habits. Look into how they live their lives and how they self-develop and all of these really, really important aspects. Model yourself on those people. Absorb as much information as you can. Really, really vital that we have as much knowledge, because your knowledge is what's going to allow you to propel forward. Your habits and your knowledge and your systems. This is really, really important. And lastly, enjoy the journey. Starting a business is exciting. You've made a really, really brave and courageous step into achieving your goals. So remember to enjoy the journey, and it's not all doom and gloom. So mindset, success, habits. Let's get into a little bit of mindset. Straight off the bat, you need to listen carefully to this teachings or to these slides if your initial thought was to skip this section. Really, really important, because there will be a ton of you watching. As soon as you hear mindset, as soon as you hear foundations, habits, you want to skip, because you want to get to client acquisition, you want to get some money and you want to get some cash, you want to make some money online. And is mindset or foundations going to do that too? Is it going to move the needle? Is it going to get you your first client? Actually, yes, but you're probably thinking no. So if your initial thought was to skip this section, it's actually really important that you watch this section. If you thought mindset isn't that important, like mindset's kind of this wishy-washy, fluffy thing that doesn't really matter. Like I hear mindset all the time. Is mindset really that important? It's kind of like, as I say, wishy-washy. If you think that, then that is like alarm bells going off. That's like red flags, because you need to make that paradigm shift. You need to change that thought process, because that is a thought process that's not going to get you very, very far. You think all that matters is client acquisition. You know, mindset doesn't matter. Habits don't matter. Foundations don't matter. I need to get clients. I need to move fast and I get clients. Whilst that is somewhat true, mindset is literally what your strongest asset will be in the online agency space, in any space really, but particularly in this online marketing space. Your mindset is your strongest asset. The thought of learning about mindset seems boring. This is a very common thing. And if you're watching this and you're probably like a lot of people and you're used to nuking your mind with dopamine hits from TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, and your mind is just completely flooded with dopamine constantly, the thought of learning about something like mindset would seem quite boring. Like if you're constantly looking at all the nonsense online that's designed to nuke your brain with dopamine and make you addicted to these apps, mindset would seem boring. It's only natural. And you're going to need to look at doing something like a dopamine detox to really reset and do a paradigm shift, because this is the important stuff. Watching some nonsense on Twitter or some video about some gaming channel on YouTube is going to do nothing for you or your business or your life, really. So this is why this is so important. You think you already have a killer mindset. Some of you might think, I'm ambitious. I have drive. I've maybe already started a business, or, I think differently to my friends, or whatever it may be. And you might think you already have a killer mindset, but the truth is you don't. The truth is you really, really don't. Evolving and creating and developing a killer mindset takes years. It really, really does. Now, you can put some habits in place and use some sort of hacks and quick bits to really get you there quicker, but creating a killer mindset takes years and years and years to develop. So if you think you already have that, it's really important that you watch this. And again, you feel the urge to click off this video. If you've got to this stage and you're like, oh, I don't want to watch this another mindset video, or this is boring, it's even more important you watch this, because that's your dopamine. This isn't spiking your dopamine enough. You want to watch a gaming video, or you want to watch a video on recent news, or you want to read a tweet or a thread or whatever it may be, that's going to give you more of a dopamine hit, because you're used to that. You're not used to actually learning and developing your mind and actually taking in valuable knowledge. So you want to click off this video. You feel the urge to click off this video. And if any of these apply to you, it is so important that you watch this. So as digital marketers, we sit in front of the same screen all the time. So I'm a marketer, you are a marketer. I'm assuming if you're watching this, there's tons and tons of agency owners out there. There's loads of us, and we all sit in front of laptops or computers every single day. We essentially have the same tools at our disposal. So what separates the best from people who fail? What separates the best from the people who fail? Because we all have computers, we all have access to the internet, we all have things at our disposal. The only thing stopping you from being successful is literally your mindset. Your mindset, how you think about things, how you react to things, your daily habits, your work ethic. All of these things fall under the umbrella of mindset. And this is why it's so important to develop a killer mindset. Because if you have a killer mindset, if you have killer habits, every single day, you're going to be so productive. You're going to do your work. You're going to be consistent. You're going to repeat what you're doing. And a little knockback here or there, or a bad client or a bad sales calls, or you're getting no responses on your outreach, that's not going to knock you for 6. Like, some people will come into the agency space and they'll do outreach for 3 or 4 weeks and they mightn't get good responses, or they mightn't be consistent, or they mightn't repeat their work every single day, and they mightn't have good habits, and they will just fall away. Or they'll see a video on Amazon FBA, or they'll see a video on dropshipping, they'll jump onto that business model. And that's where the mindset comes back. If you had a stronger mindset, or if the hypothetical person I'm talking about had a stronger mindset, they would repeat and they would be consistent and they would stick at it, and they would literally have the mindset, I am going to land a client no matter what. I am going to land a client. That's what's really, really important here. You have to remember what's important. So if they had that mindset, they would have stuck at it. And the next week, they might have got their first client, or the week after that, they might have got 2 clients in 1 week, and it would have compounded from there. But they didn't have a strong enough mindset to stick at it, and they got distracted, and they got shiny objects in it, and they moved on to the next thing. So that's what I mean. As digital marketers, we all have the same tools. The only thing separating you from a really, really successful agency owner and marketer is your mindset. Setting goals. Let's get into why goals are so important and why you should be setting them when starting a business. So studies have shown that writing down your goals can increase your chances of achieving them by 42%. So literally writing down your goals, seeing them on a pen and paper, even putting them on a board or putting them on your desk every single day so you see them when you're working, can absolutely explode your chances of achieving those goals. And what we want to do is we want to set SMART goals. And what does SMART stands for? It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So all of our goals want to hit all of these points. They want to be specific, they want to be measurable, and they want to be achievable. That's really, really important. Realistic and timely. So let's take an example. An old goal may be, I want to get up earlier. A new goal may be, I want to outreach to 10 businesses every single day for 1 month. Now, this is obviously just an example. If you're trying to grow an agency, I would recommend you reach out to a lot more than 10 businesses every single day, but it's just an example for setting goals. So the old goal, I'll start getting up earlier, and the new goal, I want to outreach to 10 businesses every single day. So if we look at the new goal, is this specific? Yes, it mentions exactly how many businesses we want to do, and it mentions a time frame. Is it measurable? Yes, we can go back and see, have we outreached to 10 businesses in the last 30 days? Is it achievable? Very achievable. Is it realistic? Very realistic. And is it timely? Yes, we have the time frame in there, so we know exactly what the time frame on that is. Let's look at another example. An old goal may be, I want to get 10 clients in 6 months. A new goal might be, I want to wake up at every day at 6:30 a.m., dedicate 90 minutes to working on my agency. So you can see how that's different. And I would even change that. I want to dedicate 90 minutes to client acquisition. Can you see how that is different? The old goal, acquire 10 clients. There's literally no process. There's no strategy. It's just words. The new goal is specific, measurable, achievable, and realistic and timely. It's so much better, and it's going to make you so much more likely to achieve your goals if you create goals like this. I also want you to find someone to share your journey with. Connect with someone on a personal level and enjoy the journey together. Keep each other accountable and keep track of progress. This is just a little bit I'm putting in, and it can be very, very helpful. If you are growing together with someone on a journey, it can be very, very helpful. And it's something I implemented when I started my agency, but you are going to have some low days. You're going to have some high days and you're going to have some low days, but growing a business can be lonely. Now, obviously there are a lot of entrepreneurs, but I'm talking kind of compared to the general public, there aren't that many entrepreneurs. So if you can find someone in the agency space that's trying to grow alongside of you and help each other through the low days and keep each other accountable, keep each other consistent and repeating the work, it can be really, really helpful. Okay, smart versus hard work. Do I need to work smart or do I need to work hard to grow my agency? The answer is both. Smart work is about refining and streamlining processes in order to achieve maximum efficiency. Hard work is about putting the maximum effort and focus in so we can achieve a certain task. When combined, these can be a deadly combination. So really, really important. You need to work hard, but you need to work smart, efficiently, and effectively. So let's take an example. You need to find 50 companies for some outreach. Option 1 is spending hours scraping Google websites for contact information, find yourself overwhelmed, barely making any progress, feeling exhausted, staring at a screen, getting bored and pushing tasks to the next day because you're experiencing a lot of frustration. That's option 1. Option 2 is we delegate a task to a VA by providing clear instructions via Loom or a Google Doc. When they handle the task, we focus on other priorities without stress. Upon completion, your VA charges you $7.50 for the 90-minute task. So you can see here, by leveraging a really high quality VA that you can get, we'll talk about later, how we get these people and how much they cost. However, by leveraging a VA in this certain instance, you can see how we can go and focus on way more important tasks like income producing activities that we're going to talk about a little bit later, but your VA can handle all this admin for you. So this is working smart, but also working hard as you're focusing on other priorities that you can do without stress, and then your VA is taking care of this for you. So what's the better option? It's pretty obvious, but 99% of beginning agency owners don't do this, and that's why they get burnt out. They get caught up doing really, really boring, useless tasks that they could leverage a team member for, and they get burnt out. They get burnt out and they don't stick at the business model, and they put all their energy into meaningless tasks when they should be focusing on client acquisition, self-development, mindset, and building their agency by doing income producing activities. Find your sweet spot. You will have to do some manual tasks at the start, so you yourself will know how to actually do those tasks. But in order to scale, we need to leverage a team. We need to leverage team members, and we can do this very, very cost effectively, as we just discussed. You can go and get VAs on Upwork for $5 an hour that are really hardworking, really high quality. They know the space, they know marketing agencies, they know what they're doing, and these people can fulfill these tasks actually to a better quality than you. So why not leverage them? Really, really important. So find your sweet spot and find what works for you, but we need to leverage team members in order to scale. Benefits of balancing smart and hard work. It's time and cost efficient. Outsourcing tasks can save money in the long term despite initial team member expenses. Again, we can do this in a cost effective manner by leveraging VAs from Upwork. Prevention of burnout. Outsourcing relieves entrepreneurs from overwhelming admin tasks, and it's going to massively reduce burnout. Flexibility allows for the prioritization of important tasks and flexibility in scheduling. And scalability, proper balance in outsourcing enables faster agency scaling compared to most competitors. If you are leveraging VAs to do all of that admin, and I keep using VAs because as an agency owner at the start, as a beginning agency owner, that's probably what you're going to be doing. We can focus on what's going to really move the needle and scale our agency. Self-discipline, how self-discipline can help us get to where we want to be and why it's so important in entrepreneurship, the agency space in general. Okay, so what is self-discipline? Self-discipline is the ability to control one's actions and thoughts. It's the willpower to do what needs to be done even when you don't want to do it, and it's the ability to set goals and achieve them. Why is self-discipline important? It helps you achieve goals, it increases productivity, improves self-control, promotes self-confidence, helps you cope with stress, and ultimately puts you in a position to grow your agency or grow your business and be successful. Again, it goes back to mindset, foundations, habits. How do we actually do the tasks? How do we stay consistent? How do we repeat the mundane, boring tasks every day that it takes to grow a business? We do it by absolutely mastering self-discipline. So we've touched on it earlier. How do we develop self-discipline? We want to set smart goals. Preparation is vital. I'll give you a little tip on preparation. Always write your to-do list the night before. You never ever want to go into a day where it's not crystal clear what your to-do list consists of. This is really, really important. Always write your to-do list the night before. It can be in a notepad, it can be using an app, whatever it may be. Eliminate distractions, social media. We touched on this way back at the start. I highly recommend a social media detox for everyone watching this. We want to develop willpower through repetition. The more we repeat something, the more we get up every single day and do daily repeatable tasks, well, they're going to turn into habits and we won't even think about it. It's like making your bed every morning. I get up every morning, I don't even think about making my bed. I just do it. That's because it's now a habit, because I've done it so much through repetition. I've developed a habit. We also want to reward ourselves for achievements. So set yourself little micro goals like, I want to do 300 bits of outreach or 300 touch points this week. If we achieve that goal, then we can go out for lunch at the weekend, or we can take our girlfriend, our partner out for a coffee, or whatever it may be. We can go for a meal with our friends. Set goals, and when we hit those goals, reward yourself with little mini achievements, because it's going to make you want to do those goals again the next day and the next week and the next month. And finally, watch and read the self-discipline king, David Goggins. If you have not already read David Goggins' book, this guy is a savage, he's a machine, and he will do wonders for your self-discipline. We're going to talk about him a little bit more later. Tips for applying self-discipline to life. We want to leverage time management softwares. So you can use things like Chrome extension to block out your social media. We can do time management softwares like to-do list and things like that to write our to-do list for the day on, the night before. Really, really important we leverage these softwares because we're going to be on our computer all day. And if we have softwares constantly reminding us of what we need to do or blocking out social media, it's going to really, really help our productivity. Keep a diary or a journal, kind of self-explanatory, this one. Write down your daily tasks on a diary or a journal. Surround yourself with disciplined people. This is a really, really important one that people kind of neglect, and something I even neglected at the start of my entrepreneurship journey. Surround yourself with disciplined people, because if you're around discipline, if you're around highly motivated, like really, really high level people with successful habits, you are going to absorb that. You're going to consume that and it's going to rub off on you. So really, really important. Fail forward. Let every failure be a lesson. There's going to be plenty of failures when you start your agency. Let every single one of them be a lesson and fail forward, and block out the noise. You need to have blinkers on as an agency owner. You literally need to be focused on landing clients, focus on growing your business, focus on mastering self-development and sales. Anything else is irrelevant. Anything else is not important. Focus on what's important and block out the noise. And just to reiterate, if you really, really want to master your self-discipline, study this guy like there is no tomorrow. David Goggins is an absolute self-discipline maestro. Study this guy like there's no tomorrow. Let me reiterate that. He's got 2 books that I really like, Can't Hurt Me and Never Finished. I'd recommend listening to them both on Audible because he's got podcasts at the end of every chapter with his co-writer. And yeah, it's just phenomenal. Like, I read Can't Hurt Me a couple of years ago, and at the end of it, I was ready to run through a brick wall. Like, this guy is insane. His life story is insane. I'm not going to talk about him for too much because that's not the point of this, but if you really, really want to master self-discipline, look into David Goggins. He is an absolute killer. Income producing activities, IPAs. Let's talk about why these are really, really important. So we want to focus on tasks that are increasing our agency's revenue. Sometimes we like to tell ourselves we're super busy, but are we actually being productive? Are we being productive and moving the needle for our business? Filling up our day with checking emails, trying softwares, watching YouTube videos on business, is that actually going to grow our business? Are these things moving the needle in our agency? Being busy and being productive are completely different. They're completely different things. They are not the same. And we want to avoid being busybodies, being busy and pretending we're being productive, because that is going to get you nowhere fast. When starting your agency, there is one activity that's more important than all the rest. You need to be outreaching. If you're not outreaching, if you're focused on things like your logo, like your branding, like how your email signature looks, you're focused on all the wrong things. You need to be getting up every single day and doing a couple of 100 touch points on outreach, minimum. This is so important, because if you're not doing this, if you're not developing really, really good habits for outreach, you're not going to get sales meetings and you're not going to land clients. Really, really important. Remember, you have no agency if you are not constantly outreaching. Always be on the search for new clients. If you are not constantly outreaching, you are not going to have enough sales meetings. You're not going to have enough closes to grow as an agency. So you need to be developing really, really good outreach habits. So what about maintenance tasks? I'm sure you're probably thinking, like, all of the admin that comes with running a business. Use maintenance days. This is where you take one day out of the week. It could be a Saturday or Sunday, or I wouldn't recommend Monday to Friday, because you want to be spending those days on actually growing your business. But on these days, maintenance days, you can clean out your inbox, check in with the team, run team meetings, look at your finances, tidy up your workspace. All other tasks are IPAs only. So if your tasks on your maintenance day, they should be all admin related, all kind of like not really moving your business forward, but you kind of need to do them to run a business. IPAs every other day. IPAs every other day. Outreach and sales, outreach and sales, outreach and sales. That's what's going to grow your business. Really, really important. And you want to shift your focus. Hustling doesn't guarantee progress. Let me read that again. Hustling doesn't guarantee progress. Because if you think you're super busy and you're hustling, but actually you're not really doing very important tasks, you're not going to get any far. Prioritize acquiring a client over investing in a flashy website or business cards or branding. It's very, very important you get your priorities right. Beware of the common trap of busyness without real productivity, and focus on the right tasks to ensure your agency growth and success. Track what you're spending time on. This is something I do with new team members, and it's really, really important, because you'd be amazed how much time you're wasting throughout the day just doing meaningless tasks that aren't doing anything. With new agency owners, you mightn't even realize how much time you're wasting. So track your time on a time tracker. And also, IPAs are the priority. This is really, really important. I know I've said this like 4 or 5 times, but it needs to be emphasized, because that's how important it is. IPAs are the priority here. We need to be doing things that are moving the needle for our business. And finally, to finish off the first part of this course, or this first part of this training teachings, if you take action and follow the steps I've just given you and I'm about to give you, you will be successful. You have all the resources to be successful at your fingertips. The only thing stopping you is you. Read that again. The only thing stopping you is you. You have the same tools, the same systems and processes at your disposal as I did or anyone else did when they first started their agency. And the only thing stopping you is you, your mindset, how you think, your habits, your principles, your values. That's the only thing stopping you. So remember that. This module is super, super important. Now let's get into the next one. Okay, agency foundations. Let's get straight into it. What actually is a social media marketing agency? Put simply, a social media marketing agency is a type of business that focuses on using social channels in an effective way to drive attention to clients' businesses. Broken down into two categories, you can categorize it as social media marketing or social media management. Social media marketing involves running ads for companies or brands to generate leads or sales, also referred to as paid traffic. And social media management entails managing clients' social media content, growth, maintenance, and day-to-day management, as well as content scheduling. So what are the benefits of social media marketing for the client? Well, firstly, there is the ROI. So you can directly see the investment in terms of ad spend, and you can directly see the return on investment in terms of revenue. So it's very, very easy to track ROI. It frees up their time. A marketing agency can run this entire process for a client. You know, a business owner, they usually have a million things on their plate, as I say below, and they can trust the technicalities of marketing in good hands when you are running the marketing for them. It's also an automated and done for you service. So it's actually very, very appealing to a business owner. If you're going to say to a business owner, I run a marketing agency and we can get you X amount of leads per month, you do not have to lift a finger. We come to you at the end of the month or at the end of every week and tell you exactly what's been spent and what's been returned. That would be very appealing. Even as a marketing agency, that would be very appealing. So that is essentially how the model works. If we look at freelance versus agency, a freelancer is you and you alone. You acquire the clients and do all of the work. There is a lot more work, but the profit is higher because obviously you have no staff, you have no overheads, all of the profit is going into your pocket. However, this is not a scalable model. Freelancing, obviously the profit margins are a lot higher because you have no overheads, but you cannot scale. If you have no staff or team to leverage, it's going to be very, very difficult to scale because there's only so many hours in the day. There's only so much work you can do as one person. So that is the freelance option. The agency option is then where you build a team. Profits are lower as you have more expenses. However, this means you can scale fast. You can leverage your team members to take a lot of the heavy lifting and you can actually grow your business. You can automate your business and run it from anywhere in the world, and you actually have a tangible business. You have team members, you have staff, you have a brand. You actually feel like you're growing something. And why now? Why is now a good time to get into social media marketing? There are currently 4.6 billion social media users and 60% of the world are on social media. 4.5 billion of those people have social media on their phones. Social media is everywhere and it's only getting bigger and better and growing year on year. More social media means more eyes. More eyes means more money in advertising and more brands investing into marketing. The demand for social media marketing is huge and it is only getting stronger and stronger. So what are social media marketers? Social media marketers take advantage of this new era for brands. We launch ads, create content, generate exposure, and get paid money to do so. So how can we implement AI? How is AI used? AI is obviously a buzzword nowadays. It's absolutely everywhere you look. And it is extremely powerful. But like Churchill once said, where there is great power, there is great responsibility. When used in the right way, AI can take your productivity levels to the moon and do those menial, arduous, monotonous tasks in seconds that would usually take you hours to do. It can automate your whole business if you use it correctly. However, when used the wrong way, AI can make your content seem robotic, it can destroy the confidence and trust in your clients, and it can damage the reputation of your agency. So you need to be very, very careful when using AI. AI tools are things like chatbots, things like Google Analytics. You can use things like Jasper and lately in ChatGPT for content creation and optimization. Advertising tools include things like Ad Espresso, RevealBot, and social listening include things like Brandwatch and Talkwalker. Really, really good tools. Not so much for a beginner, I would say. You know, as a beginner, you don't want to use AI massively. But as you scale, as you get a few clients, AI can be really, really powerful. So let's get into it. The foundations of a six-figure agency. What are the foundations we need to worry about in order to get to six figures as an agency? And there's four things. in my opinion, that you need to worry about. That's booking appointments, closing appointments, delivering results for your clients, and then scaling and systemizing your business. Those are the 4 main things you need to worry about. Now, if you're thinking, what about the niche and industry? I'm going to get into that in a little bit, but you should choose one niche and stick with it. Multiple niches lead to per client results, and I will explain this in future slides. So you want to productize your service delivery. You want to focus on one industry, one niche. You want to create a template method for getting great results for that niche. You want to stick to one product or service for a minimum of 12 months. A 6-figure agency is all about consistency and repetition. So you want a plug and play approach for client results, because if you do not have this, for one client, if you're doing social media management, for another, you're doing Google ads, for another, you're doing Facebook ads, you're getting pulled all over the place. That is not repeatable. That is not plug and play. So you're going to have a lot of stress, you're going to have a lot of bottlenecks, and you're not going to be able to scale as quickly. So you want a plug and play approach. So your main focus should be filling your pipeline with hundreds of appointments. That's what our main focus should be. No appointments, no sales, no clients. This is really, really important. Use 3 to 5 channels to get 30 to 100 appointments per month on autopilot. Channels can include things like LinkedIn, cold email, paid ads, Facebook, referrals, whatever it may be. Hiring VAs and automating outreach is essential once you start to scale. Now, don't take that the wrong way and think we need to start hiring VAs immediately. We need to hire VAs once we can do outreach really well ourselves. I see a common problem with beginners is they want to hire appointment setting companies and agencies and VAs and appointment setters from day one. That is not what you want to do, because if you do that, you can't police or you can't manage or you can't optimize something you don't know how to do well yourself. So you need to do outreach well yourself and then start leveraging appointment setters and things of that nature. Remember that. So systems for everything. Implement systems for sales, delivery, outreach, appointment settings, sales reps, onboarding, team, plug and play ads, funnels, automations, VAs, growth, testimonials, referrals. You want to have systems for all of this. I use Slack for everything in my agency. I use Slack for end of day reports, for sales, for appointment setters, for triagers, for ads, for funnels, everything we have on Slack. But you want to have systems for everything. If you don't have systems, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to scale, because you're going to have a clunky company. You're going to have a clunky agency. If you have systems, you're efficient, you're streamlined, you can scale a lot easier. So the road ahead, let's get into it. Starting a business isn't easy. If it was, everybody would be doing it. So remember that. You're not signing up for an easy path. No one's going to hand you your 6 or 7 figure agency. Starting a business isn't easy. It's hard work. So I just want you to remember this. No one is going to hand you everything. You have to work tooth and nail for absolutely everything you get in this space. And that is just the bare minimum. Work ethic is non-negotiable. It is the bare minimum. It will always come back to how badly you want it. Do what others won't so you can have what others can't. Really, really important. And I'm going to be putting in these little mindset habits reminders throughout this course, because it's really, really important. As I say in the first stage of these teachings, your mindset is your biggest asset as a marketer. You need to have a bulletproof mindset, and I'm going to be constantly reminding you of that. So why most agencies fail? Most agencies fail because people are half in, half out. They like the idea of being a successful business owner, but when they realize the work involved, it's a different story. People, they see online 10K per month, 20K per month, 100K per month, 7-figure entrepreneurs, all these successful business owners, and they love the idea of it. They see all the fancy cars and fancy hotels in Dubai and Miami and New York, and they think this sounds unbelievable. I sign me up for this. But when they get into the trenches, when they start putting in the work and they realize, oh, I'm actually not seeing the hard work these people are putting in behind closed doors, it's a massively different story, because that doesn't happen overnight. That takes a lot of hard work, and a lot of the time online, you only see the result of that hard work. You don't see behind the actual closed curtains, the closed doors, the work that's being put in. And you need to be locked in. When you're working, you need to remove your phone from your room, put it in a completely separate room. You want a workstation that is tidy and not covered in clutter, because if it's covered in clutter and messy and you're all over the place, that's what your workday is going to be like. Your workday is going to reflect what your workstation is. It's a reflection of you. You want to be tidy, you want to be efficient, you want to be optimized. You want to be drinking 3 to 4 liters of water every single day. You want to stay hydrated for mental clarity and focus, and no carbs before dinner. This can make you really, really tired. If you're having a big carby breakfast and a big carby lunch, you are going to be up and down. Your glucose levels are going to be like a roller coaster, and you are going to be getting energy crashes through the wazoo. So you do not want that. Make sure your work setting is comfortable and warm. Get a proper office chair. Ergonomics are super, super important, and work in a quiet area. If you're working in an area that is loud and you're getting distracted, that is not going to be efficient. That is not going to be optimized. You're not going to have very high productivity. It's just a fact. So choosing your niche. Be specific when choosing your niche. You really want to dial in on your niche and even a sub niche within a niche. The more specific your niche, the more specialized you can become. So when I say the more specific and when I talk about a sub niche, I'm talking about things like, let's take the fitness niche, for example, and let's say you're targeting gyms. Can you target gyms, or can you target a sub niche within gyms? Can you target martial arts classes? Can you target yoga classes? Can you target spinning studios, private PT studios, or whatever it may be? Can you go a sub niche within your niche? Because that is going to be a lot more specific. And if you're an agency targeting martial arts classes, you are not going to have a lot of competition, because this is going to be a very, very specific part of the fitness niche, which is going to really, really work in your favor. So let's look at the general agency versus the niche agency. Agency A, which is the general agency, it has a lack of niche leads and is seen as a generalist. Multiple niches may attract more clients, but dilute the expertise perception. Difficulty in commanding higher retainers due to perceived lack of expertise because you're a generalist. You have inconsistent service delivery because you're not specialized in one niche. You don't have a plug and play model, and you encounter challenges in gaining momentum due to all of the above factors. So it's just a lot more difficult if you go general. Let's look at Agency B, which is specialist. They have chosen a niche or sub-niche. They have a niche and are respected experts in their field. They're able to command higher retainers due to their niche-specific expertise. They sign 30 new clients monthly with a plug-and-play model. And Agency B is on track to hit 6 and 7 figures. So you want to be like Agency B. That is why we choose a niche, to be specialists rather than generalists. So crafting your offer. The list of services you can offer include Facebook ads, Google ads, graphic design, SEO, etc., etc. For the purpose of watching this, a lot of you are going to be doing Facebook and Google ads, probably Facebook ads. You should offer the solution. It should be a simple message, a description, and price. So I get X amount of leads for Y niche, or I get X amount of conversions or booked appointments for Y niche. Like an example could be, I get 30 new leads per month for overwork and underpaid yoga studio owners. Like that's a very specific offer, very specific niche, and it's very specific in terms of how many leads you're going to get for that niche. So you need to be very, very specific, and it needs to be X amount of leads in Y niche. That is how the crux of the offer, that's generally how it should look. Forget about costs and competitors. Price your service based on the value you bring to clients and the results you achieve. Consider what your niche wants and what it's worth to them to achieve their desired situation. So if you are in the roofing niche, you need to price your services accordingly, because one roofing client could be worth $50,000, as opposed to if you are in a martial arts studio niche. You know, one client could be $50 per month or $100 per month. So it's very, very different, very, very different dynamics. So you need to price your offer accordingly. You want to emphasize client results over methods, and you want an offer that maximizes client revenue. This is key. You want to sell outcomes rather than packages. Incorporate guarantees or pay per performance models to showcase confidence and stand out from competitors. And examples include refund guarantees for minimum leads or RO guarantees for e-commerce. So you want to include guarantees. If you haven't already, read $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. It's literally a gospel or textbook on how to create killer offers. Really, really important. So read this book. It's an unbelievable book, and it will help you craft a killer offer. Pricing. Price your offer based on value, not methods, and ensure something your clients actually care about. Consider what guarantee you can deliver on 95% of the time, such as a minimum number of leads in the first few months. How I like to put this is, pricing your offer or pricing your guarantee can be a little bit tricky, because you don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, leaving you in a sticky situation where your client, you haven't met the guarantee for your client and they're coming back to you looking for refunds or money or whatever it may be. So you want to make your offer realistic, but also appealing enough where the people or prospects in your niche are looking at that offer thinking, wow, that's really appealing. I want to work with this guy. Like, I want X amount of leads or 10 leads or 20 leads or whatever it may be. However, obviously you want to fulfill that service in the back end. So I would highly recommend putting a lot of time into researching your niche, working out the average life value of a customer, working out the average cost per lead, and trying to come up with a really, really bulletproof offer that works for your niche. You need to put in the hours, you need to put in the time to really research this and make sure that you are pricing and you have crafted an offer that makes sense for your niche. Branding. So you've probably been thinking up until this point, what about my branding? What about my emails? What about my logo? What about my website? All these things that aren't massively important. That's why I've kind of left them to the back end of this teaching on agency foundations. So agency name, this can be anything as simple as your name, but it should not take too long to decide. Don't get hung up on the perfect name. So what do I mean by that? If your name is Michael, your agency could be called Michael Digital, or it could be called Michael Smith Digital. Whatever, your name doesn't really matter. You can always rebrand down the line. My agency is called Maverick Socials because I like the movie Top Gun. Like, it really, really does not matter, but don't get hung up on your name. You don't have to come up with the most amazing, catchy, best name of all time. You can rebrand down the line. On the logo side of things, use free design tools like AI to create a professional looking logo. Add this to the profile picture for all your social accounts. Really, really important that you have a logo, not the be all end all. You can create a logo in like 30 minutes, but if a client or a prospect looks you up and there's no digital footprint of your company, or you don't even have a logo, it's not going to look good. So go and use AI to create a logo. You can do it in like 30 minutes, and that means you have your logo for your agency ready to rock. Agency software stack. So for communication, we want to be using Slack. It's around $5 per member. For each member, you can have 3 guests or 3 clients. It's kind of like the WhatsApp for business, really important for agencies and client and team communication. Basically, any business owner I know uses Slack, especially every agency owner I know especially uses Slack, but any kind of online business owner definitely uses Slack. It's really, really good software, so I suggest you use that for all of your communication and your team communication as well, like kind of like your agency hub on the team side and on the client side. For invoicing and finance, you want to use Stripe. It's free, but they charge a percentage of your invoice. Every agency I know has this as well. Use it for your invoicing, tracking client payments, tax, all of that good stuff. Again, everyone knows Stripe. I highly, highly recommend you go and make a Stripe account. It's pretty much available in every single country, so you want to be using Stripe for your finances. For your meeting scheduling, you want to be using Calendly. It's around $15 per month, essential for meetings. It integrates with your calendar. You can add your logo and branding. It's kind of a must-have for agencies. That's where you're going to host all of your meetings. That's where you're going to do all of your sales. If you start hiring closers, you can add them to your Calendly. So Calendly is really, really important. I highly recommend you use it for your meeting scheduling. Video recording, you can use Loom. It's around $10 per account per month. Used for team members. You can use it like when you're hiring on Upwork to create like SOPs for your staff. You can record it for tasks for VAs like outreach and things like that. Send it to them. Really, really good software to have in your stack. Contracts, I use PandaDoc. They're around $19 per month. Not essential at the start, but good for peace of mind when you're trying to get those bigger retainers, bigger clients. Means the client is legally obliged to pay over the contracted term. It also gives you that security. So not something you have to massively worry about, but PandaDoc's really, really good contractual software. I'd highly recommend it. For payment subscriptions, I use PayFunnels. It integrates with Stripe and it allows you to automate invoices. So it's $29 per month per account, and it allows you to automate payments from Stripe. So when you pay, or when a client pays you through Stripe, you actually can't automate the invoicing. So let's say they pay you on the 1st of January. On the 1st of February, you can't tell Stripe to automate that payment. But if you integrate Stripe with PayFunnels, it'll automatically take that payment out on the 1st of the next month. So really, really good tool I use in my agency. For CRMs, I use Pipedrive. It's $15 per month, full lead management, cold, warm and hot lead storage, HQ for all of your lead gen. So when you book in a call or when you have a sales call, you put them on Pipedrive and you can track all of your leads there. It means no leads slip through the cracks and you can really manage your leads in an efficient manner. So really, really good software for lead management. For VPN, I use Nord. It's around $11 per month, needed to automate Upwork outreach and allows you to choose your IP address. Really, really useful for outreach. For example, if you have someone in like the Philippines or someone in a different country logging into like your Instagram account or your Upwork account or whatever account it may be, and you want to use them for outreach, it can be a little bit fishy if loads of IP addresses are logging into accounts. So if you want to automate that, purchase a VPN and then allow your VA to use the VPN and then log into the account, and they're going to have the same IP address. So really, really useful tool to automate outreach. So that is the agency software stack. That is what we're doing for agency build out. What you want to remember is in terms of agency foundations and agency build out, you don't want to get caught up in a lot of useless things, a lot of fluff. You want to move fast. Don't be worrying about website and branding and logos and things like that. You want to move fast and get everything set up that you need for outreach. And once you have that, you want to get to work and you want to be outreaching as much as possible and crafting and really, really working on your sales ability. That's what matters when you start your outreach and sales. That's what's really, really important. So don't get caught up on a load of nonsense. Make sure you get your software stack in place. Make sure you get whatever you need in terms of domains and branding just to get going with outreach, and then hit the ground running with outreach as soon as possible. Okay, sales mastery. Sales is obviously the name of the game. If we do not have good sales foundations, good sales principles, and good sales knowledge, we aren't going to be able to sell people no matter how many calls we book. So let's get straight into it. Why sales is so important. So I just touched on it in the previous slide. Sales is ultimately the name of the game. We need to be able to close clients on the calls. If we can't do that, we can book hundreds, if not thousands of calls, but if we are not good at sales, we will not be able to close those clients. Now, you can create the greatest ad, social media post, or landing page, but again, if you're not good at sales, you are not going to get any cash flow, you're not going to get any clients, and that is why it is so important. It is all for nothing if we cannot master the art of sales and really sharpen and craft our sales skills. And sales is the ultimate goal of anything you do. If you think about it, every single day we are selling ourselves, even if we're not on a sales call. No matter what it is, whether it's we're hiring, whether it's selling your own product to a client or a client's product to their consumer, you are constantly selling. So that's really important to remember. So before we get into it, here's two really great books that I think are very valuable when it comes to sales. So sales is a people's game. You need to be a people person to be good at sales. You need to understand the mind, you need to understand emotions, and you need to understand how to use your sales ability in certain social circumstances. So these are really good books, and they're probably two books you won't get recommended a lot in kind of the sales space, because there are tons of other like super salesy kind of more conventional sales books, but these books essentially revolve around understanding the mind, improving your emotional intelligence and improving your social intelligence, both written by Daniel Goleman. And I would highly recommend looking into these books, not only to improve your sales skills, but just to improve your general people skills. And if you have a very high emotional intelligence, you are going to do very well, not only in business, but in life, in your personal relationships, whatever it is you do. If you have a very good and high emotional intelligence, you're going to do very well. And the first step you can take into improving or developing your emotional intelligence is reading Daniel Goleman's Emotional Intelligence and Daniel Goleman's Social Intelligence. So two really good books to put those foundations in for getting really good people skills, and by product of that, sales skills. So sales psychology. Let's get straight into it. So the brain is made up of three different parts. The primal brain, which is responsible for heart rate, impulses, survival, etc. The limbic system, which is responsible for your emotions, and then grey matter, which is responsible for logic. So it's really important to remember these three different facets of the brain: the primal brain, the limbic system, and grey matter. And people buy with emotion. They make decisions with 80% emotion and 20% logic. We must sell to their emotional brain. So people are emotional beings. A lot of the time, we are not logical, we're emotional beings. And this goes back to improving your emotional intelligence, because if you can really master your emotional intelligence, you can make this really work in your favor. However, human beings in general are emotional beings. They always go to their emotional brain first. And if you can even compare that to, when something annoys you or when something angers you or something upsets you, you get emotional. Your brain goes to your emotions first rather than thinking rationally or logically. So that's why when I say the brain makes decisions 80% emotion and 20% logic, that's what I'm talking about there. So we must sell to people's emotional brains. So how do we do that? We say things like, imagine all the doors improved marketing could open for your business. Imagine all the extra free time you could have to spend time with your kids, spend time with your wife, spend time with your family, your parents, whatever it may be. Imagine the feeling of growing and expanding your business. Imagine the feeling of waking up every single day and being excited, and your business is growing and your marketing is flowing and everything is streamlined and efficient and automated. Imagine how that would make you feel. Imagine spending more time with your family and children. We already touched on that, but a lot of business owners work crazy hours. So try and get them in the headspace of imagine actually spending more time with your family and children. Imagine how that would make you feel. Imagine how that would make your children feel, your wife feel. Try and pull at all of these emotions, pull at their heartstrings and around how you can make them feel. We want to sell with emotion. We want to show them what life or what the opportunity and result that improved marketing could bring them. So really important that we say things like this and really open up and broaden their horizons into what they potentially could feel with improved marketing. And once we spike their emotion, we back it up with logic. So once we spike their emotions, once we open the doors and show them what it could be like if they improve their marketing, if they improve their systems, if they work with you or I, once we spike their emotion, we back it up with logic. So how do we actually back it up with logic? Well, this is how. We want to show them previous client results. We want to show them previous testimonials from clients, maybe an ROI you've got or a ROAS you've achieved or some of your best results on Facebook ads, or some video testimonials or written quote testimonials from previous clients. And then that's when we start backing up our emotional selling with logical selling. So we've spiked their emotions and now we're backing up with logic and rationale. And we do this by showing them previous results, previous client testimonials. We can even show them statistics backing up the power of social media. So how many users there are on social media, you know, what the total ad spend on Facebook is. Last year it was like crazy, billions and hundreds of billions. We can show them the power of social media, or we can break down exact ROIs. The average ROI in your industry is 4x, or the average ROI we've seen with our previous roofing clients, decking clients, construction clients, dentistry clients, whatever it may be. The previous ROI we've seen is 3x, 4x, 5x. What would that kind of return do for your business? So really, really good way to back up your emotional selling with logical or rational selling. And remember, spike their emotions first and then hit them with logic. So you want to spike their emotions, show them the path they could walk, show them what doors will open up, free time with their family, freedom, their business growing automatically, streamlined. All of these emotions are going to start coming into play, and then you want to back that up with logic like we just discussed. So meeting prep, let's get into meeting prep, how we can prepare for each and every meeting. So first of all, we want to do our due diligence. What social media are they currently using? Are they using Facebook? Are they using Instagram? You know, are they currently running any ads? Are they running Facebook ads? Are they running Instagram ads? Are the ads underperforming? What sort of creatives are they using? What sort of copy are they using? How could these be improved? Are they currently posting content? Are they posting high quality content to their social media? If not, why not? What are competitors doing in their space? Are competitors posting content? What kind of content is it? Is it UGC content? Is it more carousel content? What kind of content are their competitors posting? And is their engagement low? If so, why? Is there copy per? Is there creatives per? Are they just not posting consistently? Is there no call to action? Why would their engagement be low? And then ultimately, what areas could you help them with? How could you help them? How could you improve their content? How could you improve their ads, their copy, their creatives, their entire process, their systems, their funnels? How could you optimize all of this? Your due diligence is really, really important, and you can see why. Just from these points alone, if you are person A and person B, and person A goes into a sales call with all of these questions studied, researched, and prepared, and person B goes in doing none of this, you can see immediately what call is going to go better. Person A. And this doesn't take a lot of work. This might take an hour or two to look into this and have answers and questions prepared just on this slide, just on this knowledge that we're talking about here. And this will improve your sales calls so much because you will actually have something to talk about. You'll have done your due diligence and it will build massive credibility with the potential prospect or with the potential client, because it'll be like, okay, this guy goes and does his work, does his research, looks into our company, looks into our content, our ads, our competitors. You know, it looks good. This guy sounds like he knows what he's talking about. So really, really important you do your due diligence. Write it down. Have all their key pieces of info written down in your notepad. So when you're discussing the project with the potential client, you can say things like, I noticed your competitor DP Roofing is posting this type of content and their audience is engaging with it really, really well. This shows them that you've done your homework and builds rapport. So if you notice that another client is posting user-generated content or reels or maybe tweet style posts on Instagram, and that's really, really good for their engagement, or it could be ads related, you could tell them how another client is using a certain ad creative or using certain ad copy or targeting a certain ad demographic. Then you can use that on the call, and it sounds really good. It shows you that it shows them that you've done your research. It actually gives you information, gives you foundational knowledge to make a good decision on whether this client's a good fit or whether you can actually help them. So there's just so many ways that it helps you on the sales call in terms of closing the client. So bear that in mind. Do your due diligence, write down questions, and be prepared. And play to the crowd. Be very conscious of who you're speaking to. How you deal with a roofing company is going to be very, very different to how you deal with like a health e-commerce brand. And also play to the crowd. Be very conscious of who you're speaking to. How you deal with a roofing company and how you deal with a health e-commerce brand are going to be extremely different. How you speak to them, your tonality, where you take the conversation, even how you dress is going to be completely different. And this is something you'll get better at as your agency grows, but be very, very aware of this before the call. Your mannerisms, your tonality should be very, very different depending on your niche. So keep that in mind. Make sure you play to the crowds. Zoom. Everything is done on Zoom, so you want to make sure you have your name set up on your Zoom account. You want to make sure you have a professional picture. This can be a selfie or it could be like your agency logo, whatever you have. You make sure your background is professional. You don't want to be going onto Zoom and your background like a really untidy room or looking super unprofessional. You do not want that. As soon as someone clicks on a Zoom call with you, as marketers, you should have all of this in place. You're literally a marketer. It's your job for all of this to look good. So if you have like a messy room or it looks unprofessional, professional, they're going to judge you on that immediately. So you need to have a professional background. Make sure screen sharing is enabled if you're showing any presentations or you're showing them client results or you're showing them competitor ads, whatever it is. Make sure your screen sharing is enabled. There's nothing worse on a Zoom call when you're kind of fiddling around with the settings and you don't really know what you're doing and it looks like you're lost and this is your first sales call. It looks really, really unprofessional. Make sure there will be 0 interruptions for the duration of the call. Really important, it just comes back to professionalism. You want to be in your flow, you want to be in the zone, you don't want any interruptions. And have a notepad and pen beside your laptop. Really, really important. You have a notepad and pen to take notes. So next time you speak to that client, you have your notes and you have written down what you took away from that call. So really, really important we have all of these Zoom sort of foundations and principles in place. And how to get the close. So the best way to secure a client is to close them there and then. Kind of self-explanatory, but we want to strike while the iron is hot. We want to be a little bit pushier rather than soft selling. So without closing then and there, the client can forget and lose interest. They can change their mind. Maybe another agency sells them a better offer or they hire someone else. So we want to strike while the iron's hot. We want to get them there and then because we've been spiking their emotion, remember? We've been building a ton of credibility and been spiking their emotion. So we really want to sell whilst we have them there. So what's some strategies we can use? We can use scarcity. There are some strategies you can use to prompt the client to make a decision quickly. So you could tell the potential client you usually have a setup fee of $250. However, if we could get this over the line here and now, I would be willing to waive that setup fee and get you in ASAP. You could tell the potential client that you only have a few spots left before you're at full capacity. And you could also say you only take on a certain number of clients, so to make sure your team and you have enough time for each client. So just use scarcity to try and get them to make a decision, to try and get them to come in a little bit quicker. This is a good tactic that I've used in my own agency and that I teach the students in my community, and it works really, really well. Waiving the setup fee makes you look generous and also pushes them to move fast. So it makes you look like you like them, you're doing them a favor, you're kind of building rapport and building a relationship, but it pushes them to act fast and it pushes them to make a decision and commit on the call. Because if they go off the call, they're so much more likely to talk themselves out of making that financial commitment and making that decision to move forward. Remember, going into a sales call, there is always the number one priority to close them there and then. That has to be your priority. Now, obviously this isn't going to happen every single time, but going into a sales call, your number one priority has to get the close. Don't let them off that call really easily. You have to make your priority to close them there. Now, you don't want to be super salesy, like a super pushy salesman. You don't want that because that's going to annoy them. But you want to use tips and strategies like looping and reframing, and you want to really, really spike that emotion. That's really, really important. If you spike that emotion and build really good credibility and a really, really good rapport on the call, and they're feeling all of these emotions, and then you back that up with testimonials and logic, and you use looping and reframing and things like that, that's going to work really, really well. However, back when I started my agency, I obviously didn't have all of this experience. I didn't know this. I wasn't as good at sales, and I left a lot of money on the table by just being nice, by not wanting to push them a little bit, by just kind of letting them off the call too easy. You don't want to do this. You want to learn from my mistakes, and you want to really push for the close as much as possible. However, I do agree and I do admit sometimes it won't be possible. It might be a 2-call close or a 3-call close, depending on the client or depending on how big the retainer is or how big the deal is. So bear that in mind, but remember, you always want to have the close as the number one priority. Objection handling. Let's get into a bit of objection handling and how you can handle certain objections in certain situations. So first and foremost, there are 4 main reasons that you might get an objection in the first place. The first main reason is they're the wrong client in the first place. So you haven't pre-qualified them. They're a bad lead. They haven't got enough money. You know, they're maybe not in your niche or whatever it may be. And they're the wrong client. So they're going to object because they're not a good fit. So that's the first one. The second one is probably the most popular one. There's no trust built, or they don't believe that you can do what you say you're going to do. So they don't believe you can get them results, or they're not quite sure that it's your value for money. So a lot of the time when someone's objecting, it's because they don't trust you. They've just met you on the internet. They don't really know who you are. There's not enough trust built on the call. And it goes back to what we were talking about there. You need to build that credibility. You need to build that rapport. You need to build that emotion. You need to build it up. And on a sales call, there should be no fluff. Every single question and every single minute of that sales call should be strategic from your point of view. You should be building trust, you should be building rapport, building credibility, asking little emotive questions here or there, and planting seeds throughout the call. There should be no fluff, and it is all to build up that trust, because if they like you, they trust you, and they want to work with you, then it's going to end up in a close. The third point is there's no perceived value. So they don't think your offer is strong enough, or they don't think that what you are selling or what you are offering them is worth what they would pay you. So there's no perceived value. And that comes back to having a really, really strong offer. Really, really strong offer is super important in sales, because if you make them an offer they can't refuse, or you have an absolutely killer offer, they'll feel silly saying no. So that's where it goes back to creating a really, really kill offer. And the next point is they're not interested. So again, this just means they're a bad fit. They're not interested in the first place. Whatever you're selling them, they're not interested in. So those are the 4 main reasons for objections. But let's get into some questions or common objections that you might get. So a common objection you might get is, what is your previous experience? They might want to know, who have you worked with? What have you done in the past? And you would say to that, I'd love to show you some of my previous case studies. Let me send them right over and we can assess them when on the call. Or you could just pull them up on your screen and share your screen and go through them one by one, whichever way is handier or easier for you. But this is what you would say in that instance or that circumstance. What are your terms? Usually we operate off a minimum 3-month term with a 30-day notice period. As you can imagine, it takes some time to build out your ad campaigns or socials and get your ROI. So we have found this is the sweet spot. Usually within 2 to 3 weeks, we start to see results, but 3 months gives us the time to test and really start building momentum. So this is a really, really good way to set expectations while simultaneously locking them in for a 3-month term, which obviously you want that monthly recurring revenue. You don't want them high churning. You don't want any of that stuff. So this is a really, really good way to not only get them locked in on that 3-month term, but also build great credibility and tell them and set them expectations, because they'll respect that. They'll respect that you're not saying, okay, after 1 week, we're going to get you a ton of money or a ton of revenue or 5 ROAS or 10 ROAS. And they'll appreciate you're not just saying anything to get them over the line. You're setting their expectations and you're being realistic. So they'll respect you for that. And this is a good way to do that. And as I say, lock them in for 3 months. When do I start seeing results? And you would respond with, the team and I will be sending you weekly reports with everything you need included. Some business owners like to be more hands-on, and we can communicate any and all results within our Slack channel. That being said, we know you're very busy and we keep our current clients happy as they get a breakdown of the important KPIs. So you're letting them know they will get their reports weekly and you will keep them up to date on all the latest results and progress. And now is not a good time for us. We don't really want to move over. It's not really a good time for us. To which you would respond, I understand. When would be a good time to start increasing your revenue? We found the businesses that get the best results are often the ones that are willing to take action. So again, this is kind of, you're going to riff off this because you're going to use all the ammunition, little seeds you've planted throughout the call to kind of elaborate on this. Throughout the call, they're going to be telling you things like, we're unhappy with our revenue, we're unhappy with our sales, it's up and down, we really need to start improving our marketing, and you're going to use that as ammunition. So when they say something like now is not a good time, you're going to say, you've just told me that you're unhappy with where your business is at, you're not really hitting your revenue goals or KPIs, you're overworked and underpaid. So when is it going to be a good time to increase that? Because you can either do it now and implement all the systems we've spoken about, implement all of the different ad campaigns and creatives and copy and strategies that we're going to do with you that have worked for our previous clients, X, Y, and Z. Or you can just keep doing what you're doing, continue to stay unhappy and continue on the same trajectory you're on, which obviously is not fulfilling or is not hitting your goals. So when would be a good time to start, hitting those goals? When do you want to increase your revenue and do all the things we discussed? And that's called reframing and looping, and that is what you want to do. But it's very, very important that you've built up that ammunition, you've planted those seeds so you can give a response like that. So really, really important. So the next thing I want to talk about is upselling. Upselling is persuading a customer to buy an additional service to the one they're already agreeing to. And a real world example of that could be, you've just agreed to take on a Facebook ads client in the roofing niche, and you tell them on the call you can also do social media management and specialize in their niche. You could achieve fantastic results for them and offer a discount as they're already coming on board for Facebook ads. You then upsell them on your social media management services, and then boom, you've got 2 different revenue sources. You're getting revenue through Facebook ads and social media management. This is a really, really good way to increase the revenue in your agency. You could also offer a discount. So usually our social media management services are $500 per month. However, seeing that we're already partnering up for Facebook ads, I could offer you a huge discount at $350 as a gesture of goodwill. Ads and social media management work very, very well together. And instead of you getting $1,000 for the Facebook ads, you're now getting $1,350. Now, these are obviously just top level numbers. You could charge whatever you want for your ads and for your social media management. But this just shows you the power of upselling, because it makes sense. If you're going to be running their Facebook ads, then why not run their social media management too? It's going to be very good for your ad campaigns because they're going to have a constant feed of social media content coming through, but also it's going to increase revenue for your company as you're upselling them, not only on their ads, but their social media management. So a really, really good way to increase revenue if you already have a fish on the hook in terms of a potential client. You want to also discover pain points. On a lot of the calls, you will hear about a potential client saying, social media is so time consuming, we wish I had someone to handle this. You want to use this as low hanging fruit, and you want to use this as ammunition to hit them at the end of the call and say, look, you said this earlier that, your social media, you're not really posting, it's too time consuming, you wish you had someone to handle it. Why not give it to us for a massively decreased fee? because we're working on your ads anyway. The social media content is going to really help your ads, but it's also going to bring in clients too because you're constantly posting content. So use this as leverage, use this as ammunition at the end of the call if they say things like this. And if you use this within your agency, compounded over time, this can be thousands and thousands and thousands of added MRR or monthly recurring revenue every single month to your business. So it can be very, very effective. The onboarding process. Let's talk about, okay, you've just closed a client. So how do we get them onboarded into our agency? What does that process look like? This is what the process looks like. So first and foremost, we send them the invoice and get that paid. That is the first step. Then we send them the contract. We send them our agency contract with our minimum term, our monthly retainer, and all of that good stuff. Then we send them our onboarding form. This can be done on Google Forms. It can be done on Airtable. It can be done on Pipedrive. You can send them forms on a lot of different softwares, but you want to send them an onboarding form with loads of details like their social media logins, their target market, any content they have in their Google Drive. This is really, really important to be sent them on the form. Then you want to get them into your Slack channel. So I use Slack for all my client and team communication. You want to set up a client channel and invite the client into the Slack channel, and that's where all of the communication is going to be with you and your team. Then you want to get access to their Facebook ads business manager, because that is where you're going to run the ads from. And then once they give you access to Facebook ads business manager, you are going to add your team members in, and then that is the full onboarding process. So after this, they will have paid, they will have signed the contract, they will have filled out their onboarding form, they'll be in Slack for all your communication. You will have access to their Facebook business manager, and then you will give your team access to Facebook business manager, where all of the ads and everything is run from an ads perspective. So that means everything is ready to go to start researching, putting your due diligence in for the ads process and getting those first campaigns live. And it's really, really important. This must be a smooth and efficient process. Really, really important. If this is clunky and it's not efficient, it's not streamlined, the client is going to get a really, really bad impression. Remember, your onboarding process will be the client's first impression of your agency. Make sure it is a good one. Make sure it's efficient. Make sure it's streamlined. Make sure it's easy for the client to do. If it's clunky, if it looks like you don't really know what you're doing and it's a really, really bad first experience for the client, that is not going to be good. You want to make a really, really good first impression on the client. That's super important and really, really important that we do that first. Make sure you have your onboarding process absolutely dialed in. Vitally important. So maybe you're asking yourself, when will the ads be live? Tell the client there's a minimum 1 week lead time. Emphasize there's no point in rushing things. We want to start as we mean to go on. This is a common question. As soon as you close the client, this is the first thing they're going to ask. And all you want to say is, look, there's a 1 to 2 week lead time. We don't want to rush things. We want to start as we mean to go on. We don't want to do the proper research and put the proper foundations in so we can really hit the ground running. So just emphasize at that point. And then taking payment. If you're wondering back on the onboarding section, how do we actually take payment? How do we invoice the client? All payments are taken on Stripe, like we discussed back in our software stack. You simply select create invoice and send the client a payment link via Stripe. It's really, really easy. And that is essentially the A to Z of the sales process. That's how your sales foundation should work. That's how your onboarding process should work. And this is essentially how you should be closing a client from A to Z. So remember, your onboarding process should look like you send them the invoice, you send them the contract, you send them the form, whether it's on Google or Airtable. You then send them the access to Facebook Business Manager. You then get them into your Slack channel, and then you give your team members access. So really, really important. It's a smooth and efficient process. This is vitally, vitally important that we get this right. And I will see you in the next stage of the course. Okay, client acquisition, the part you have all probably been looking forward to, the secret sauce. How are we going to get these juicy clients? How are we going to get this cash flow into our agency? Let's get straight into it. So where do we find the leads? We are not going to get any clients if we don't have any leads. So we need to scrape leads first, and we can use these softwares or these lead scrapers. So one that's very, very popular is D7 Lead Finder. It's a good one. I've used a lot for my own agency. You've also got things like snuv.io, hunter.io, and LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So I would say these are probably in order of how I would use them, or in order of, I guess, cost effectiveness and user friendliness. So D7 Lead Finder is a pretty good cost effective way to get some good leads. Snub.io I would use after that. If D7 isn't to your liking, then Hunter.io. And then LinkedIn Sales Navigator, I would argue, depending on your niche, is probably one of the most powerful lead scrapers out there. However, it is expensive. It's like $100 a month. It is not cheap. So maybe when you get your first couple of clients and you start building up your agency, you can invest into something like LinkedIn Sales Navigator. But up until that point, D7, Snub.io and Hunter.io is more than enough to get you some clients. Principles. Whether you have some knowledge of outreach principles or a total beginner in the SMMA world, it is always good to keep some key principles in mind. So these are some foundations. This is again some mindset, bringing some mindset into it, things to remember when you're starting to do outreach. Consistency is key. Rule number one of outreach is consistency breeds success. Stay consistent no matter what happens or how you feel. So what you have to remember here is outreach is very, very much a numbers game. You have to stay consistent. You have to get up every single day and get your outreach in. Some people are going to get their first client on week 1. Some people are going to get their client on week 4. Some people, it might take 6 months to get their first client, but you have to stay consistent. That is the most important factor here. Consistency is key. If you are consistent, if you show up every single day, put in the work, get your outreach in, you're going to land clients. You're going to get meetings. It's just a matter of time. So really, really important. Remember that consistency is vital and it is key to your success with outreach. You've also got focus on volume. Volume plays a crucial role in outreach effectiveness, and continuously explore a way to increase your outreach volume. So as I say, outreach is a numbers game. The more business owners you outreach to, the more business owners you speak to, the more sales meetings you are going to land. So you need to focus on creating systems and processes that allow you to get the most effective outreach and the most volume with your outreach. That is very, very important. So focus on volume and focus on consistency. If you're consistent and you get your volume in, you're going to be well on your way to getting some meetings booked for your agency. Emphasize the follow-up. Follow-ups are crucial for both cold and warm prospects. Most appointments and replies come after multiple follow-ups. So really, really important. If you DM or you email, we're going to get into the outreach strategies and how each of them work and the intricacies of the outreach strategies soon. But if you're sending out a DM on Facebook or Instagram, whatever it may be, and you're not following up, you are leaving money on the table. That's really, really important to remember. The power of the follow-up is very, very important. So make sure you're following up. Highlight results. Talk about outcomes of your service and product and how you deliver results for your clients. Focus on the solution and the benefits, not just the features. So focus on what the outcome is going to be, not all the bells and whistles and what you're actually going to do for the client day to day. Focus on the outcome, the solution. Again, remember back to the sales trainings. Highlight with emotion. Really, really emphasize the emotion, the outcome. What actually are you going to provide for this client? You know, what's going to happen if they work for you? That's really, really important. Optimize your offer. Craft a compelling offer that stands out. The strength of your offer can greatly impact your success. So if you haven't already, I touched on this previously, read $100 Million by Alex Hormozi. This is literally a gospel, a textbook on how to craft an amazing offer, and use that to craft your offer. Use that book to craft your offer and craft a really, really killer, compelling offer. It's super, super important. If your offer is strong enough, your clients or your potential clients, your potential prospects are going to feel silly saying no. That's really, really important. If your offer is strong enough, if it's powerful enough, if it's literally like they can't afford to say no. That's how good your offer should be, where they literally can't afford to say no. It would be silly not to. That is going to be very, very important for outreach and sales. Start with proof of concept. Establish a proof of concept before scaling your efforts. Test and refine your approach to ensure effectiveness. So later in this training, we're going to be discussing the platforms and the different strategies. We want to test these strategies and we want to test these platforms, because if we are using a platform and a strategy that doesn't work for a certain niche, well then we are just fighting an uphill battle and we're never going to do well on that platform. So it's really, really important you get a proof of concept. You get a little bit of success, or you get a little bit of proof that that platform actually works for your niche. We're going to get into more of that later. Balance quantity and quality. Find the right balance between message quantity and quality. Deliver a sufficient volume while maintaining a high standard. So you don't want to get into the sake of just doing a ton of volume and really, really letting your quality diminish. Your outreach needs to be high quality outreach. You can't just be sending template messages, template DMs with absolutely like spamming people, because you're not going to get good results. So you want to get the happy medium between quantity and quality. You want enough volume where it's enough to get results and you can push that volume out, but you also want want it to be high quality outreach. That's really, really important. You also want to master outbound yourself. Outsourcing can be tempting, but master the process first. This is something that I deal with regularly. Like a lot of the people I work with, they'll want to hire appointment setting agencies or appointment setters right from the get-go. And every time I think, how can you manage someone, or how can you manage an appointment setter if you don't know how to do this well yourself? So that's what I say when I mean master outbound yourself. Hiring should come after consistent success in booking calls. Once you are very successful at it yourself, once you consider yourself to be quite knowledgeable and be able to manage someone efficiently and optimize them, then you can hire out. But only then. There is absolutely no benefit, no point of hiring at the start. That's just laziness. That's just you not wanting to put in the work, and that is not good, because business is about putting in the work. You need to want to be able to put in the work. That's kind of like the idea of the whole thing. So if you don't want to put in the work and you want to hire straight away, that is not going to be good. Add your spin on things. Customize strategies and scripts to align with your unique style. Incorporate your own creativity while staying true to proven methods. So I'm going to show you strategies and methods and platforms, but that's not to say you have to use these. That's not to say you have to do exactly as I did or exactly as I teach, because you can add your own spin on things. You can incorporate your personality. You can incorporate things that you might think work better for you, or might work better for your agency or your offer or your niche or whatever it may be. So add your spin on things. Create curiosity. Keep your outbound messaging intriguing and engaging. Curiosity motivates prospects to learn more about your offer. Add a bit of personality. Ask some funky, weird questions. Be a little bit quirky. Try and get some attention. Try and get some curiosity. Try and be different, because there's a lot of people in the agency space trying to do outreach. There's a lot of people in the agency space maybe in your niche or using these platforms and strategies that I'm going to teach. So try and create a bit of attention, try and create a bit of a buzz, a bit of curiosity, be a little bit different in your outreach. Outreach lag. Understand the time lag in outbound results. The actions you take today may yield results in 2 to 4 weeks. So realize if you DM or email or call someone today, that is not necessarily going to yield you results tomorrow or the day after. There is a lag in where the results come. So if you cold call someone today, or if you email someone today, you could book in a call for the end of the week. Then you could book in a second call for the week after, and then you could close them on the third week. So realize that there is compounding results here. The more outreach you do, the more of a compound effect it will have, and you will start getting more results and results down the line. But you need to be consistent, and you need to realize that your results aren't going to come immediately. Doubt conditioning. Condition doubt and fear out of your mind and combat negative thoughts with action, especially during moments of doubt and uncertainty. So outreach is very much a mental game. It can be very, very monotonous. It's not fun DMing all of these business owners, ringing these business owners, emailing all of these business owners. It can be it can get you down in the dumps if you're not getting responses, if you're not getting results. But you have to combat those negative thoughts with action. So the way I phrase this is, if you're not getting the results you're after, double down, work harder. Keep being consistent, keep being repetitive, keep putting in the work. That's not to say, as we discussed previously, if you're just simply using a platform or a strategy that doesn't work for your niche, then you don't want to double down. That's what we talked about earlier in terms of getting a proof of concept for the strategy or platform. However, purely from a work ethic or purely from a results standpoint, you need to have an absolute granite mindset. You need to be bulletproof in terms of getting up every single day and getting fear and doubt out of your mind and just getting to work. And if you're not getting the results that you're after, or you're not happy with the results, you just want to double down and work even harder. So let's get into the outreach strategy. So what outreach strategies generally are used for marketing agencies? So you've got DMs. DMs could be Facebook DMs, Instagram DMs. They could be Twitter DMs, LinkedIn DMs. DMs are essentially sending a cold DM or getting inbound DMs. You can use inbound DMs through paid ads, but primarily cold DMs on the platforms I just mentioned. Then you've got cold email, which is essentially setting up cold email campaigns, scraping and lead list, and cold emailing prospects. Then you've got cold calling, pretty self-explanatory, where you're cold calling prospects from a lead list. You've got Facebook groups, where you go on Facebook and you create a group. So let's say you're in the roofing niche, you create a marketing tips for roofing business owners on Facebook. You invite roofing business owners to that group. In that group, you post content like how to run Facebook ads for roofers, how to create social media content for roofers, and they see that content, they build relationships with you, and then you DM through that group. So it's more of a long-term play, but a very, very effective way to get clients. You've got organic content, where you could be putting out TikToks or Reels, talking about how to improve marketing for roofers or deckers or whatever it may be. Then you build up a following, and then you have an inbound funnel to land clients that way. You have Upwork, which is a freelancing platform where people go on and they post jobs. Maybe they need help with Facebook ads or Google ads, or maybe they just want more clients, and then you apply to that job and then they interview you and then you land clients. That way it can be really, really effective. I used Upwork to scale my own agency. And then you have paid ads. Paid ads is something you want to probably do after you have minimum 5 clients, and paid ads is lead gen on autopilot. That's ultimately where we all want to get to. You want to get to paid ads with your agency, because then it's just automatic. All your leads are coming in through paid ads. They go through your funnel, they book on with your closer, they book on with you, and it takes all of the work away, and it's just a really, really good way to scale your agency. However, before we get to paid ads, we need to do all of the above. And a little bit later, I'm going to run through a bit of an action plan, a roadmap on how I would do each of these if I was starting my agency again. But these are the main strategies for outreach today in SMMA. So DMs, cold email, cold calling, Facebook groups, organic content, Upwork, and paid ads. So platforms. Choose platforms based on your niche and where your target audience is active. Incorrect platform selections can hinder your success. So you really have to know your niche inside out. If you don't, it's really going to hinder your success. You need to know where your niche is hanging out, and this comes from your niche research and going on and doing your diligence and finding out what really works well in your niche, because certain platforms and certain strategies will work better than other niches, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that in more detail. So consider your niche. Determine the social platforms where your target audience is most active. Avoid platforms where your audience is unreceptive. So possible platforms obviously include Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and for example, a local gym owner may not be active on LinkedIn. And well, I know this is true because gym owners do not hang out on LinkedIn. So this is just an example. Maybe a roofer, like for example, let's take the roofing niche. I know the roofing niche is really, really good on Facebook. I know it's decent on Instagram and not so great on LinkedIn. But gym owners, I know they're really big on Instagram and they're decent on Facebook, but again, they don't use LinkedIn. But something like a construction contractor or something like e-commerce could be much better on LinkedIn, because it's a more, I guess, progressive, modern platform where those business owners, directors, and head of marketing are going to hang out. So that's what I mean. You need to know your niche, and you need to know the platforms that those niches hang out on. Drive this home. You need to know your niche inside out. You need to know your niche inside out. Gym owners are not going to be active on LinkedIn. So let's take your niche, whether it's roofing, whether it's dentistry, whether it's HVAC, whatever your niche is, you need to know literally off the top of your head, like, where are they active? Where do they hang out? What platforms are they on and what platforms aren't they on? And sometimes it's very, very simple. Sometimes you just have to think logically, like, are they going to be on a certain platform? Yes or no? So really, really important that you know your niche inside out. So for each platform, you want to consider the following before you actually start your outreach. So you want to make sure that your profile is optimized. You want to make sure that your profile photo is professional. You want to make sure you have a good cover photo. Your bio, any copy on your profile is really, really optimal. You want to make sure you know where to get the leads. You know how to find leads, whether it's connections, friends, profiles to follow. You want to make sure you know how to access leads on that platform. You want to make sure you know the chat limits or the DM limits on that platform. So this is the number of new messages you can send per day per account. If you don't know this and you just go in and start nuking people with chats and DMs, you're going to get hit with limits and suspensions, and then the platform is not going to work well for you. So you want to really make sure you know the limits on the platform so you don't start breaking any policies and then they're going to suspend and flag your account. You want to post content because this is going to hugely boost response rates. You want to post whether it's Facebook copy content, long form copy content, or whether it's Instagram creative content. You want to post content on the platform because it really, really boosts response rates. And you also want to warm up the platform. So you want to make sure you know how to behave in the first 1 to 2 weeks of the account, whether that's posting content, adding friends, how many people you can add, how many people you can DM. You want to make sure you know how to behave on that account for the first 2 weeks so you can warm it up sufficiently. And here I have a recommended schedule for outreach. Now, I'm going to get into a full outreach roadmap very, very soon. I'm going to walk you through what I would do if I was starting my agency again. But this is kind of like how you could map out your day. And this is kind of looking at someone who's working in 9 to 5 or 9 to 6. You could wake up at 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. you could do emails and DMs, 7:30 a.m. you could do follow-ups, and 8:30 a.m. you could do your task list for tomorrow. Now, this is assuming that your evenings are busy. So you can also work on your lunch if possible, and you can even work in your evenings if that's available. And then on the evenings again, if your mornings aren't possible, if you start work early or whatever your situation is, 6 p.m, break after your job, 6:30 emails and DMs, 7:30 follow-ups, 8:30 task list for tomorrow, and then you can work later, but be careful not to burn out. Now, if you can work your mornings and your evenings, then you can put these together and obviously you would get the double results. However, if you can only work mornings or evenings, and this is kind of just showing you how you can do it real world if you're working your 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, like I was when I was starting my agency. So let's look at the numbers. I just want to drive home the numbers here and kind of give you an idea of how powerful this can be if you're actually consistent with outreach. So let's say you outreach to 15 companies per day, very low numbers. Let's say you cold call 15 companies per day. Very, very low number, very conservative. Like, oh my God, you should be doing 10 times this at least. That's 75 per week. That's 300 companies you outreach or cold call per month. With an average meeting percentage booking rate of 4% per 100 leads, that means you could land 12 meetings in month one. Now, an average industry closing rate is 30%, which leaves you with 4 clients after 1 month. Like, think about that. After 1 month, you could have 4 clients paying you 4 or 5K of monthly recurring revenue into your agency. Like, after 2 or 3 months, you could literally leave your day job and do this full time. And imagine the results you would get if you had all that time freed up to do outreach. So this is a very, very conservative, very, very like super careful, like you could do so much more than this, but I just want to give you an idea of the potential here. So let's say you're very ambitious. Let's say you upped up to 30 cold calls per day or 30 outreaches, maybe emails, maybe DMs, whatever it may be. That's 150 per week. That's 600 per month with an average booking rate of 4% per 100 leads. That's 24 meetings in month one. Now with an average industry closing rate of 30%, that leaves you with 8 clients after month one. And this is how we scale fast. This is literally the agency client acquisition training in a nutshell. This is what you want to be doing. This is what you want to be optimizing and making more efficient and really getting into the weeds with outreach, because this is the potential that's in front of you. There's so much potential here. It's actually insane. And this is how we scale fast. So this is just to give you a bit of a taste or a bit of idea of what results you can actually get with this. But I'm going to go into an outreach roadmap very, very soon, showing you how we do this in detail. With teams and processes, this is very, very doable. Remember, when you're running an agency, you are going to have media buyers and teams doing the service delivery. So all you need to worry about is sales, getting clients in the door, and then you're going to have a team to do the service delivery or run the ads or run the social media management. They're going to be doing the work so you can focus solely on outreach and sales. Really, really important. Keep this in mind. All you want to be worried about when you're starting a social media marketing agency is sales and outreach. So hopefully that was valuable. Hopefully you all enjoyed that. That's kind of an overview of the client acquisition process in terms of the strategies, in terms of the platforms, in terms of principles and foundations that we need to have in place in order to do well. So now I'm going to get into an outreach roadmap, kind of like a total warm up in terms of what I would do if I was starting my agency again. So let's get straight into it. So here we are on my client acquisition roadmap, and this is what we're going to be diving into today for this video. So you can see here, I'm breaking out every single outreach method that I'm going to be leveraging here. So we've got Upwork, we've got personal network, we've got Facebook, we've got Instagram, we've got email, we've got cold calling, we've got a general overview, and then I'm going to take you through a daily workflow of what I would do in order to get these results. And the kind of thinking behind this video is, what would I do if I was starting again? And it's a really good question. If I was starting again, the niche I would choose is gyms. Now, I would choose gyms because it's something I'm passionate about. I go to the gym. I know a lot of gym owners. I know how gyms pricing works. I know that they upsell supplements. I know that they upsell PT classes. I know that they upsell spinning classes. I know the business model pretty well, and I'm very confident that I could speak to a gym owner or to someone in the gym space on a sales call or on a cold call or whatever it may be. I could speak to them very, very confidently, and I could articulate essentially what I'm trying to do in terms of run ads and get them clients and get them members for their gym. Now that's really, really important, and it's something that people completely forget when they're choosing their niche. People will see someone on YouTube has done med spas, they'll see someone has done dentists, they'll see someone who has done home improvement businesses, and they'll just jump into that niche. Now that is like the worst thing you can do, because ultimately the niche you choose, you need to have some foundational knowledge in that niche. And if you don't, you're going to be swimming up current. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean exactly what I just said about gyms. Maybe your uncle is a dentist. Maybe your brother runs a landscaping business. Maybe your cousin owns a gym. You need to have some sort of connection to that niche. You need to have some sort of foundational knowledge so you can articulate your points and you can speak confidently on a sales call to a member of that niche. So for the purpose of this training, I am choosing gyms. The reason I'm choosing gyms is because right now, as we sit here, I could probably call 10 gym owners right now. Like, I know the owner of my current gym. I know the owner of my previous gym. I know the owner of a martial arts gym that was near my house. I know the owner of a health club near me. 2 of my friends are PTs. I could probably call them, find out who works for, what gym they work in, what their gym owner is called. I'm very confident I could ring 10 people right now. and get on the phone with 10 business owners. And that's why I'm choosing Jim, as well as knowing the business model, as well as being very confident I can talk to them on calls, knowing their profit margins, essentially knowing what their pain points are. So that's the first thing. When choosing your niche, choose a niche you have some foundational knowledge in. So moving on, first platform that we're going to be using is Upwork. The second platform is leveraging our personal network. Then we're going to be looking at Facebook. Then we're going to be looking at Instagram. Then we're going to be looking at email. And then we're going to be looking at cold calling. And then I'm going to tell you, if you're breaking it down by day, how many hours and how many total touch points we should be doing per platform. All a touch point means is you have outreach to one business owner, whether it's a cold call, whether it's an email, whether it's a DM. That is a touch point. It doesn't matter if they respond or not. A touch point means you have attempted to contact them. So we'll get into that a little bit later in the video. So the first one, Upwork. Upwork is a major slept on client acquisition method. I used Upwork to scale my agency to probably 25K a month, and it was like clockwork. Upwork is so powerful. I think right now there's around 9,000 Facebook ads jobs on Upwork. Try and comprehend that. There's 9,000 people actively looking for your service on Upwork. Disadvantage with Upwork is we're not going to be able to target gyms. We're going to have to go broader because, there's just, we can't target specific niches on Upwork. That's just not how the platform works. However, the pros of that are we can still land clients. We can still move fast. We can get some cash flow in. We can learn what it is to run an agency. These are all vital experiences, skills that we need to hone in order to scale. And if we have to go broad at the start, just to get some clients in and just to get some clients on board to learn what it is to be an agency owner, I think that is way more important than just putting it to a side and saying, no, it's not in my niche, I don't want to do it. So we create an account, we ask 5 friends and family members to review our freelancer platform. That means we get a success score. That means we have reviews on our page. So when we apply to a job, people can see that we have a 5-star review. We then apply to 30 jobs per day. And this should book you on autopilot 1 to 3 sales calls for your agency. And again, warm leads. This is so much better than cold outreach. It's insane. Like once you get on Upwork and once you start using it as a platform, you're going to fall in love with it because they're already sold on Facebook ads. You just have to sell them on you. With cold outreach, a lot of the time you have to sell them on ads and you have to sell them on you. So you have to overcome 2 hurdles. On Upwork, they're already sold on ads because they're posting looking for someone to run the ads for them. They're already sold on it. So you just need to convince them you're the right person. It's 10 times easier. You'll fall in love with the platform. And then at the bottom I have, it gains momentum. So what do I mean by that? A lot of people come into the agency space and they spin the hamster wheel and they never really get a client and they never really get off the ground. If you can go into Upwork, you can get like 2 or 3 clients in the first week or 2. It's insanely powerful and it's going to give you that confidence. It's going to give you that momentum. It's going to give you that belief that you can actually make this work. People that come into the agency space and they take 6 months to land their first client, they lose belief in the business model. They lose belief in themselves. They end up giving up. There's no momentum. If you can get that early momentum, it can really stir you on and it can make you believe, okay, I can actually make this work. This is really exciting and people are actually willing to pay me to do their marketing. So that is Upwork, and we're going to get down to a little bit later of how long that's going to take per day, but that is essentially how that platform works. Yes, we won't be able to target gym owners, but it's going to get us that early momentum. It's going to get us that experience. It's going to get us, used to running an agency, used to onboarding a client, used to communicating with a client, used to running Facebook ads, all of these vital skills that are going to be hugely important down the line. That's Upwork. The next thing is leveraging your personal network. So this is another slept on one. Like people just do not want to do this. They just are lazy. They just don't want to think outside the box. Contact people in your network. I am so confident right now, if I wanted to start a gym agency today, I could have 10 gym owners on the phone by the end of today, if not tomorrow. I'm so confident in that. And that's how you've got to think if you're going to be a business owner. You've got to think outside the box. Are you willing to do what all of these other agency owners aren't willing to do? You've got to think outside the box. It's really important. Again, I have down here, I personally know at least 10 gym owners, PTs, yoga instructors, Pilates, martial arts, health clubs, whatever it may be. Create a script, create a side deck, create an offer and approach these people. If it's a free trial, if it's guaranteed leads, if it's guaranteed clients, make your offer completely bulletproof and approach these people. If you're offering them a free trial or you're offering guaranteed 20 new gym members per month, they'd be stupid to say no. You just got to get them on the phone. Show them the value in digital marketing. Show them if they don't invest in digital marketing, they're going to be left behind and their competitors are going to jump over them and absolutely kill them. So show them another gym that's potentially killing it with ads. This is something that I like to do. It's something I did initially when I first started my agency. Show them a direct competitor in their locale or, geographically that's close to them that's absolutely killing it with Facebook ads. And that'll fairly perk their back up and they'll start asking questions and they'll start be like, oh, maybe we need to get into this digital marketing. So that's something that you can really, really use to perk up their interest. But please leverage your personal network. If you're young and you're kind of making the excuse of, oh, I don't have a personal network, I'm 19, I don't really know anyone. To be totally frank, that's BS. Your dad knows someone, your mum knows someone, your cousin knows someone, your brother knows someone. Maybe you're in a networking group that you can post in. Start hustling, start getting out there, putting your name out there, thinking outside the box, because once you do, you'll reap the rewards. So that's the personal network, something that's really, really slept on. Next, we're going to go to Facebook. So generally in SMMA, what they will teach you with Facebook is, create a Facebook account, join niche groups, add friends, DM, book them on a call. So that does work. I've used it in my own agency. I use it in my coaching business. It 100% works. But how do we get that on steroids? Because it can be a little bit slow to start in terms of getting momentum, adding friends, having enough of a data pool to write to people. How do we put that on steroids so we can start getting results immediately? What we're going to do is we're going to buy 10 accounts at bulkaccountsbuy.com. Each account will have 50 to 100 friends on it, and we're going to join 5 quality groups per account. Now, if there isn't enough niche groups in your niche, like let's say you are in the landscaping niche and there only is maybe, 20 groups, then maybe we're only going to use 5 of the 10 accounts you're going to buy. So on bulkaccountsbuy.com, you can only buy minimum 10 accounts. So maybe we're only going to use 5. It depends. Join 5 quality groups, add 50 people per day, 10 per hour on those accounts, and starting 5 to 10 conversations daily. And remember, give actual value to these people. So maybe you want to send them a cheat sheet PDF on how to improve their company's marketing, or maybe you want to create a Loom, reviewing their website, or maybe you want to give them a 10-page PDF on how to create a basic Facebook ad. Give them value. Don't just hard sell them in the DMs immediately. Those days are gone and there's too many people trying to do the exact same thing. Give actual value and track every single prospect in Google Sheets. If we work off 5 accounts, that's minimum 50 to 100 touch points per day, and that will get you results if you are consistent and do that every single day. So that is what we're going to do on Facebook. Really, really important. And again, the USP here and the kind of like putting this on steroids is buying those 10 accounts at the start to give us volume, because as with outreach, we all know it's all about volume. So moving on to Instagram. Instagram, we're going to create 5 Instagram profiles. And on those Instagram profiles, we are going to create user-generated content. And user-generated content is simply talking head style videos just like this. You've seen it on TikTok, you've seen it on IG Reels, you've seen it on YouTube Shorts. You know what UGC is. You've just got to start making it. So what can you make? Let's say you are in the e-com niche. Let's say you want to start making UGC content. Make a talking head clip 30 seconds long on the 5 best ways to run Facebook ads for e-com companies. Or make another talking head video, the 5 best ways to grow your e-commerce store. Or 5 AI tools that will explode your e-com sales. Or the 5 mistakes that e-com beginners make. There are tons and tons and tons of content topics you can make. Go on ChatGPT and type in, shoot me out 50 content topics for UGC content on e-commerce stores. The world's your oyster. Again, back to what we were saying. Start thinking outside the box, because when you do, that's when your business is going to start growing. So if we go back to Instagram, we're going to start posting UGC content, and then we're going to scrape 10K leads from Lead Scraper. So we can use D7, we can use Card Scraper, whatever it may be. Start scraping leads, and we are going to get a VA and pay them $3 to $5 per hour to find personal Instagram accounts. So we want to find the personal Instagram accounts. We don't want to DM the company account, because no one is going to respond. It's going to get to a gatekeeper or a receptionist, blah, blah, blah. And it's not going to get in front of the owner. So after we do that, we want to outreach to 50 business owners per day per account. And I would use a selfie strategy for this, if possible. And essentially what we want to do there is we want to show them that we're not just cold selling them, cold DMing them. We want to add a bit of personality to this. And we do this by sending a really, really professional, really friendly selfie video. Now, you will not believe your response rates once you start doing this. Your response rates will literally skyrocket. You'll actually get people responding saying, I'm not interested, but I just wanted to thank you for this refreshing approach. So start sending them selfie videos in the DMs instead of cold DMs. And that's going to be 250 touch points here, minimum per day, using the 5 accounts, around 50 DMs per account, 5 times 50, 250. So next we're going to go down to email. And what we're going to do is we're going to warm up or buy 6 email domains. So you can buy 6 new ones and warm them up yourself, or you can buy 6 already warmed email domains a lot quicker. And what we're going to do is here, we're going to use 3 domains for cold email, conventional cold email, and we're going to use 3 for a Loom strategy. What we're going to do is we're going to test the 3 conventional cold emails with light personalization. So maybe you're going to add in their company name. Maybe you're going to add in something about their geographical location. We're going to customize the first line in some way, shape, or form. And with the Loom videos, it's going to be completely customized. So you're going to create a video about their website. You're going to create a video maybe about ads they're running. You're going to create a video about potentially what you're going to do for the company. And you're going to attach that link to the email. And we're going to run a testing phase for this. After 4 to 6 weeks, we're going to look at responses and we're going to look at calls booked for our conventional cold email campaigns. And we're going to look at calls booked and closes for our Loom campaigns. Now, what that will allow us to do is to see what is actually working. So in my opinion, the Loom is going to knock this out of the park. It's going to be much higher converting than just conventional cold email, but you might be surprised depending on your niche. However, we won't know until we test and then we assess. And then once we do that, we can determine the results. And then maybe we're going to pivot all of our accounts to 6 Loom email domains or 6 conventional cold email domains. This is an easy 300 to 600 touch points per day. And this is guaranteed to work if you do it correctly. It's as simple as that. Now, to the elephant in the room and what everyone hates doing, cold calling. There really isn't much to this other than you need to man up and start cold calling. Cold calling works. It's as simple as that. Cold calling is so effective and it works. It just works. It's as simple as that. Cold call, cold call, cold call. Minimum 50 calls per day. I've got some guys in my program that are doing 500 cold calls per day. So if you can't do 50, I'm afraid I can't help you. There's a video on my channel where I literally book 3 meetings in 90 minutes, just cold calling. I didn't have a strategy. I didn't have a structure. I literally set up the camera one day and I started cold calling people and I booked 3 meetings in basically an hour and a half. Cold calling just works. If you are in a country where maybe there isn't a lot of companies locally, or maybe you want to go to the US or UK, set up, go high level, set up an international dial and start doing it. It's as simple as that. It's really not that difficult. This should be your bread and butter. And not only will it land you clients for your agency, it improves confidence. It improves your sales ability. It's just so good, so impactful, so effective on so many levels. You have to be cold calling. Like I would even up that 50 to 100 or 150 per day. Like easy. We're going to go through the hours now in terms of how long all of this is going to take, but you could easy double or triple that easily. So now we're going to scroll down and we're going to look at this table I've created in terms of outreach method, time needed, total touch points and calls booked. So this is daily. And you're going to be spending 2 to 3 hours on Upwork. And of that, you're going to get a total of 30 touch points. That's minimum. You could be booking 4 or 5. I'm trying to be conservative for the purpose of this video, but minimum, you should be booking 3 calls from that. Then we're talking about personal network. I've put in 1 or 2 hours per day for this, and I put in total touch points of 10 because, I'm talking about myself. Tomorrow, if I could speak to 10 gym owners in my personal network, I think that's very doable. Of that, I think I could book 4 or 5 calls out of that easily. I'd be gutted if I didn't. I'd be absolutely devastated if I didn't. And of that, if I don't land 1 or 2 of them, I'm going to be absolutely kicking myself. But I'm going to be conservative. I'm going to go in the middle and I'm going to put down 3 calls booked. Then moving on to Facebook. Facebook is so effective. It's so effective. And if you use this method that I'm teaching here, you will absolutely knock it out of the park. I've put down 2 calls booked like this purely to be conservative because it can be a little slow at the start. This could be at 7 or 8 with some of my accounts. So I've put in 2 here, but it's taken 1 to 2 hours and a total of 50 touch points across those 5 to 10 accounts like we discussed. Instagram is 50 DMs per 5 accounts. So 5 times 50, 250 touch points. This will take 1 to 2 hours depending on when in the day you do it. You're looking at 3 calls booked minimum here. Like 3 from 250. It could be way higher. It could be way higher, but I'm going to go conservative. Cold email should all be automated. So it should it'd be all front loaded work. It should only really take you 1 hour per day to check in on campaigns. Again, this should be around 600. I've gone a little bit less at 450 to be super conservative. With the looms, with the personal customization, like your booking rate should be really high here, people. I've gone 3, which again is super conservative. Cold calling, we just discussed. This should take about 90 minutes to 2 hours. I put in 50 cold calls. You could double or triple that easily. Super conservative, and I've gone 3 calls booked. You can go and watch the video on my channel where I literally did this in real time. So I'm actually actioning what I'm teaching here. In total, we've got 8 to 12 hours work. It's a full day in your agency. If you're starting out in your agency, you should be working full days, minimum 8 to 12 hours. We've got 840 touch points there after we calculate them all together and round them up. Again, really conservative. This should be the bare minimum, and calls booked 17. Now 17 does sound like a lot of calls, but when we break it down per platform here, it really isn't that much. That is so doable. And you can see how just looking at this, you can scale so quickly. Like, it's insane. Like, this is really simple. As I said, this is something I taught in my program. It's something I'm very passionate about. And this is exactly what I would do if I was starting my agency tomorrow. This is how I would scale. This is literally what I would do with all my knowledge and experience being in the space now for 3 years and growing my agency to multi-6 figures. So please do this if you're starting out. It's really simple. It's really simple. It's all about the numbers. Really clear. Just go and put the work in, and these are the kind of numbers you're dealing with. And to even go on and take it one step further, I've put in a daily planner here. So at 6 a.m., we're waking up, we're meditating, and we're journaling. Then we're hitting the gym at 6:30. I think it's really important that you get exercise in, good for your mental health as well as your physical health. We're getting a breakfast and shower at 8 a.m. We're starting our Upwork outreach at 8:30 a.m. At 11 a.m., we're acquiring about our personal network. We're maybe speaking to friends, family, whoever it may be, who we can get in touch with our personal network. Lunch, we're taking a 30-minute break to eat, and then we're reading as well. We're getting some knowledge in, whatever it is you're reading at the minute. 12:30 p.m., we're starting our Facebook outreach. We're giving ourselves 2 hours for that. 2:30 p.m., we're starting our cold calling. We're giving ourselves 2 hours for that. 4:30 p.m., we're checking our email campaigns. Again, this should only take 30 to 60 minutes. It should all be automated with softwares I use instantly in my agency. You know, there's Mailshake, there's various softwares out there, but it all should be automated. So you should just be checking your KPIs and booking in calls. We're breaking for dinner at 5 p.m. We're taking a 30-minute break. Then we're starting our Instagram outreach at 5:30 p.m. And then at 7:30 p.m., we're reviewing our KPIs from the previous day. This is really important. If we don't know our numbers, how can we assess? How can we pivot? How can we move forward and optimize? Really important we review our KPIs. And then 8 p.m. we plan for the next day. So as you can see, it's a really jam-packed day, and there's absolutely no room for fluff, time wasting, messing around in there. Everything is systemized, everything is structured. And if you do this, there is no doubt in my mind, you will get results. Okay, service delivery. Service delivery is actually getting your clients results through Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, whatever it may be. It's something people actually forget about when they start running a marketing agency. And it's one of the most important aspects. We need to get our clients good results. We want to have low churn. We don't want our clients coming on and getting bad results and then all of our hard work being down the drain because they have left. So, but first and foremost, I want to talk about free trials. This is something I get asked about all the time. Can I offer my clients free trials? You know, I'm a new agency owner. I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't feel confident myself. Should I just offer free trials to get some clients in the door and just get going with things? When new agency owners are first starting out, they tend to lack the confidence selling their services for a full service fee or even any money, and ask me, should I offer a free trial? Purely because they've got imposter syndrome. They don't really feel like they can charge people money. They feel like they're kind of not an expert at their craft. And I'm going to get into why this is actually counterproductive. So common statements are like, I'm new to the game. Why should anyone hire me? I don't have any clients yet, so offering free trials will help me get the ball rolling and increase my experience. I lack experience. This is the easiest way to get my foot in the door. If I offer a free trial, I can get results and then they'll hire me long term. Very common things that come to play when people are talking about free trials. You need to remember that you are running a business. And if you're working for free, that is not a very profitable business. If you aren't confident in the value that you bring to the table, if you aren't confident in your service, if you aren't confident as an agency owner, then you shouldn't have any clients. You should be extremely confident in the service you provide. You should be considering yourself an expert, and you should be very ambitious and encouraged at the result. No, take that out. And you should be very confident you can get your clients results. That's really important. Now, you also have to realize if you offer your client something for free, that the client will never see you as a person of authority. This is why it's counterproductive. If you're offering them something for free, they're not going to perceive you as an expert, or they're going to perceive you as a person of authority. Free will be the definition of the relationship that you have with the client. This is what your relationship is going to be built on. You are an expert in your field, and guess what? experts charge money for their expertise. This is really, really important. You are positioning yourself as an authority, you're positioning yourself as an expert in your field, and experts charge money for their expertise. If you aren't an expert, then you know what you need to be working on every single day. If you don't consider yourself an expert, if you don't consider yourself a skilled marketer or someone who can get your client results, then that is what you should be working on. You shouldn't be doing outreach if you're not confident in the results you get. You should be mastering your craft, doing your research, doing your due diligence, and really positioning yourself as an expert. As much as we love helping people, we want to get our clients the best results as humanly possible. We are in a business. We're in a business to make profit. We are running a business. That is the whole point of a business, to make money, to make profit. That's not being money hungry. That's not being egocentric. That's not caring about your clients. You are in a business to make profit. So don't be running free trials. Don't be giving free trials as a result of your imposter syndrome. It's very counterproductive. It makes no sense. And it puts you in a weak position and gives you no leverage going forward with the client. Charge what you're worth. It's usually a lot more than you think. Read that again and really, really let it resonate. Charge what you're worth. It's usually a lot more than you think. So let's get into it. Service delivery. So 6-figure service foundations. Foundation 1, productize your service. Foundation 2, automate and scale. Foundation 3, plug and play delivery. And foundation 4, speed. So this is what we're going to be covering in the next slides. Foundation 1, productize your service. Productizing your service is essential for scaling your agency. Productization means making your service consistent, like a standard product that you buy on Amazon. Your way of getting client results should never change, just like a well-defined product. Personalizing services for each client can hinder scalability and lead to inefficiencies. This is really, really important. You don't want to be doing social media management for one client, Facebook ads for another, Google ads for another, maybe Google and social media management for another. You're going to be all over the place. You're going to be pulled in a million different directions, and it's going to be massively counterproductive both for you and the client. You're going to find it hard to scale, and the client's not going to get great results. So it's really, really important you have one productized service delivery for your agency, whether that's Facebook ads for roofers using Go High Level or whatever specific service you are going to productize. It's really, really important that you have a plug and play model. Automation and scaling. Have a repeatable process that allows you to automate your business. Assign specific people to handle the repeatable process, reducing the need for specialized skills, and your service access and assembly lines, streamlining client results and operations. So that's really, really important. Again, you're going to see a common theme here. Automation and scaling revolves around productization, repeatable processes, and plug and play models. That's really, really important. You're doing the same thing every time, because if you're doing the same thing every time, it's logical, it's sort of simple when you think about it. You're going to get better at it. You're going to become an expert in your field, and you're going to get much better results. Foundation number 3, plug and play delivery. So the process of delivery never changes. Replicable delivery ensures a consistent customer experience for different clients. It enables you to enhance efficiency, making the process cheaper and more effective. Really, really important that it's a plug and play model. I also want you to DM me Maverick on my Instagram, DylanBiz_. That is the call to action. If you don't know what that means, go and watch the start of the video. So foundation number 4, speed for success. The speed of getting clients results is crucial for retention and scaling. Faster results lead to happier clients, increasing retention rates. Efficient delivery allows you to add more clients and scale your agency effectively. So this is just a common theme for business in general. We need to move fast. Speed is really, really important, not just for you, but for the client also. So you need to get them results ASAP, and you need to move at speed in order to be successful. Really, really important. Services you can offer. So you can offer Google ads and SEO. You can offer YouTube ads, Facebook ads, landing page building out, email marketing, database reactivation, that's on Go High Level. For the purpose of this training, a lot of you are going to be doing Facebook ads. So I would only worry about Facebook ads or Google ads, either or. A lot of you are going to be using Facebook or Google ads with Go High Level and things like that. You can also do funnel building out, consulting and coaching, courses, social media management, lead nurturing, advanced tracking and conversion optimization, and retargeting and all the good stuff. These ones are a little bit more technical, probably social media management aside, but you, as I say, are going to be worrying about Facebook or Google ads, Go High Level, primarily if you are doing a lead gen agency. So how do lead gen agencies actually work? The vast majority of people watching this video are going to be running lead gen agencies. So that's lead gen agencies maybe in the home improvement space, roofing, decking, window insulation, HVAC, or you might be running lead gen for a brick and mortar business, a furniture store, or a interior design business, or a dentistry practice. A lot of you are going to be running lead gen agencies, so let's get into how they actually work. So lead gen agency process. On the left-hand side, we have a new client. Then we have the onboarding process, then we have the funnel build out, then we have the ads process, then we are nurturing through go high level, we have client approval, then we have the launch call, and we have the copy and paste results. So this is generally how the process works when you're trying to get your client results. We have a new client, onboarding process, funnel build out, ads, nurturing, client approval, then the launch call, and this is the copy and paste results. And you can see this is a very, very straightforward, simple process. This is what you want to repeat every single time for your client in order to get them results. So this is how it works in a little bit more detail. So over here on the left hand side, we have our lead gen, which is Facebook ads. That's taking it through to the client's funnel. We are lead nurturing them through go high level. They are then booking an appointment. The client closes that appointment and then they become a customer. While simultaneously we're doing organic marketing through a database reactivation campaign. That simply means using go high level and taking a customer's already existing list. They might have an email list or a previous customer list. We then nurture them through a database reactivation campaign. They book an appointment and we close them and they become a customer. The point here is all the clients have to worry about is making sales, but it is important that clients have a very dialed in sales process. If the client does not have a good sales process, then you can do all of the fancy marketing campaigns in the world. If they do not have a dialed in sales process, they're not going to land clients and they're going to probably cause a lot of stress and hassle for you and maybe blame your process when really their sales process just isn't good. So this is how the process actually works in a little bit more detail. And you can see here, it's very, very plug and play. It's the same thing every single time. And if you continue to do this and repeat and be consistent with this, you're going to get very, very good at doing this in your niche. The client success formula. So breaking down the client success formula in a lot more simplicity here, generating leads through Facebook and Google ad campaigns, booking appointments with GHL, making sales through the client's sales process, and delivering results, which is going to mean low churn. The making sales and the delivering results, 3 and 4 aspects of this slide, that's really down to the client. Now you can help the client with these sales processes and maybe delivering results and improving their service, but really that's not our jurisdiction or that's not our wheelhouse as marketers. As marketers, our job is to generate leads and book appointments for these clients, and that is what's covered in 1 and 2 through Facebook and Google Ads and GHL. However, we need to rely on the client to have a dialed in sales process and to be able to deliver results and have a good product on the back end. Okay, reporting. Reporting can be important, but it isn't the main thing. As long as you're getting results, your clients won't massively care about reporting. Good performance reduces the need for a massively detailed report, and keep it simple. Clients are going to prioritize results over the complexity of their weekly, bi-weekly or monthly reports, so keep that in mind. All a client wants to see in the report is what's being done, what has been done, and what's going to be better. The main thing when it comes to reporting is keep it high level, keep it top level. Many agencies send 30-minute videos with these big massive reports, CPCs, daily metrics, softwares. Keep it high level and send reports via Loom. 2 or 3 minutes is all they need to be. The client just wants to know how much is being spent, how much is coming in, and what is the overall plan. What are we going to do in the next weeks coming? So really bear that in mind. You don't need to go into huge detail on the reporting. So Facebook ads. Facebook ads could be a 3-4 hour training in of itself, but I'm going to go into kind of the key points, the main takeaways you should know for Facebook ads. Ultimately, you're not going to be running the ads. However, you do need to have some knowledge. You're going to have a media buyer run the ads, which we're going to touch on a little bit later. However, I'm going to get into what you do need to know about Facebook ads. So this is the funnel. At the top of the funnel, we have the stranger. Then we have someone who's going to engage with our ads. Then we have someone who's going to go through the ads process and they're going to become a lead. Then they're going to become a customer, and then they're going to become a promoter. However, the ad process takes them from stranger to customer. So that's really, really important. You know high level how the process works, how the funnel works. And the Facebook objectives when you're running ads are as follows. So you have awareness campaigns where you're going to be running brand awareness and reach campaigns. Then you have consideration campaigns where you're going to be running traffic campaigns, engagement, app installs, video views, lead generation, messages. And then you have conversion campaigns where you can run conversions, catalog sales, and store traffic. We are mainly going to be worried about lead generation campaigns and conversion campaigns. As performance marketers, that's really all we're going to be worried about. There are the 2 main campaigns. So lead generation campaigns and conversion campaigns. And here's some key Facebook ad terminology. So the goal is buyers, customers. CPA stands for cost per acquisition. So if you are running a campaign to book calls, the cost per call booked could be the cost per acquisition. Or if you're running a campaign for an e-commerce store where you are trying to acquire customers and it's costing $10 per purchase, that is the cost per acquisition. It's costing you $10 per purchase, $10 per cost per acquisition. AOV, LTV, average order value or lifetime value. ROAS or ROI, return on ad spend. LPC, landing page conversion. CPC is cost per click. EPC is earnings per click, and CTR is click-through rate. And these are the main acronyms, these are the main buzzwords, the main jargon you will see with Facebook ads. So make sure you know these and are able to speak effectively and speak articulately about these on a call, so a client gets the impression that you actually know what you're talking about. So really, really important. So who actually runs the ads? Who runs the ads once you land a client? Who goes in and sets up all these meticulous marketing campaigns on Facebook and Google? The answer is media buyers. Media buyers run these campaigns for us. They're a very important team member. They run the ads and handle client communication inside of Slack. They can charge anywhere from $300 to $500 per client. It's very, very important. These are super high quality. If you have a bad media buyer, that's going to be a reflection of you as a business, and that's going to mean you're going to run into a lot of problems and issues with your agencies because you're going to have high churn. Your clients aren't going to get good results. Your media buyer is not going to perform, and you're going to have a lot of stress and a lot of issues. Now, these can be difficult to find. I actually refer multiple options inside my community. I have multiple options for media buyers because there isn't a lot of them out there and they can be quite difficult to find. You can find them on places like Facebook groups, Upwork, Indeed.com, but they can be tricky to find because it's quite a specialist role. So it's quite hard to find a media buyer, let alone a very talented media buyer. So it can be quite tricky, but media buyers are the ones who are going to be running the ads. Really, really important you bear that in mind, but you do need to have some good knowledge on Facebook ads, be able to speak about campaigns, how the different campaigns work, the different acronyms, generally what your plan is, because clients are going to ask you on calls, what's your plan here? Or how are the Facebook ads work? Or what are we going to be doing the first couple of weeks? Or are you going to be testing? Or what's going to be your strategy? So it's really, really important that you have some knowledge on Facebook ads, but ultimately media buyers are what's going to be running the ads, or who's going to be running the ads first going forward. Okay, let's get into scaling. How are we actually going to start scaling our agency, hitting those goals, getting those big numbers, 10, 20, 30K per month? And firstly, we're going to be looking at the full team build out. So when should you hire? Hiring can be tricky. If you scale too quickly and build out a team prematurely, you risk putting yourself under pressure and going under. To avoid that, you want to ensure that you hire the right team members at the right stages of your agency journey. For example, you wouldn't hire a closer if you're not really booking that many calls. You want to hire the right team members at the right stages of your journey. A good rule of thumb is to begin by hiring members that do not incur a large expense in your business, but fulfill repeatable roles that can be easily outsourced. A really, really good example of this is a high quality VA. A high quality VA can take a lot of the heavy lifting and admin off your shoulders, so you can focus on what's actually important and moving the needle for your business, sales and outreach. Before 10K per month, you should be hiring people like social media managers, media buyers, whether it's Facebook or Google, and virtual assistants. As discussed before, virtual assistants is a key hire on your agency journey. If you find a rockstar VA, they can really, really help you, and you can leverage them a lot to scale quickly. As you get past 10K per month, you want to start investing in things like appointment setters, closers, and ops managers. Appointment setters, obviously pretty self-explanatory. They book appointments in your calendar. Closers, they close those appointments. They book in sales and customers for your agency. And ops managers are essentially what you do. So an ops manager, a really, really good ops manager, will do exactly what you do. Manage, delegate, push the business forward, and move the needle. Always hire based on fit. You want to hire based on a fit with your company. So as a company, or as a company owner, or as an agency owner, if you are a go-getter, if you're full of enthusiasm, if you're super optimistic, if you are really hardworking, you don't want to be hiring really low energy pessimist that has poor professionalism and punctuation. That is not what you want to do, because they're not a good fit. So even if that media buyer was the most quality media buyer you can get on the market, or they're very high quality technical ability in terms of running ads, if they're not a good fit, if they don't share your values and principles, it's not going to work out, and you're going to end up being very stressed. You're going to end up being really frustrated. And I can tell you a couple of horror stories about hiring when I first started my agency, where I just wanted to, try and get some people in. I felt like I was growing a business and I needed more staff. And I hired people without really asking myself, are these people a good fit for my agency, for my company culture? And yeah, really bad experience. I still get nightmares about it to this day. And this quote from Mark Zuckerberg: I would only hire someone to work directly under me if I could see myself working for them. So a really, really great quote from Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook. So why hire on fit? It's easy to be daunted by the hiring process, but you're essentially screening for two things: ability and fit. Ability is the technical ability. So let's use a media buyer, for example. Ability is their technical ability to run successful campaigns or create successful Facebook ads, whatever it may be regarding technical ability. Fit is more character fit, culture fit. So do they share your values? Do they share your principles? You know, can you see yourself getting on with them in the working environment? Because if you think about it, you actually spend more time with your work colleagues than you do with your own family. You're in work 9 to 5, or if you're running an agency, you're in work 9 to 9 really, or 9 to 8, 9 to 7. You spend a ton of time with these people. And if you don't share the same values, principles, all of these really, really important aspects, then it's going to be a nightmare. You're not going to get on with them. You're going to hate going to work. You're going to be stressed, and it's going to be very, very unenjoyable. So again, to use the example, you could have the best media buyer in the world. You could have the most accomplished, technical, high-level media buyer. But if they're not a good fit, if they're not a good character fit for your company, well, then it's just not going to work. It is not going to work. So remember that when you're hiring. That's really, really important. Where to hire from? There's dozens of online job marketplaces that will have many viable candidates for your agency. These include Upwork, Indeed, LinkedIn, Facebook group. My personal favorite is Upwork. I love hiring off Upwork. It's a fantastic platform. I've hired dozens and dozens and dozens of team members off there, and it's brilliant. I really, really love it. I'd highly recommend going and creating an Upwork account for team member hiring. It's really, really brilliant. And once you do, it's actually like a compounding effect on Upwork. So once you create an Upwork account, you will spend money on the platform, and that shows on your profile. So the more money you spend, the more experience you get. You also get reviewed by the freelancers you work with. It'll build up your Upwork profile, and that is really, really good, because that means once you start, I guess, posting for more higher end jobs like an ops manager or a media buyer or whatever it may be, they can see money spent on the platform, they can see your reviews, and they can see you're actually an established business owner. So it's going to give you access to a lot of high quality talent the more built out your profile is. So I'd highly recommend going and building out an Upwork client profile as soon as you can. The complete SMMA team builds out. So social media managers, you can expect to pay these guys anywhere from $10 to $20 per post. That's for, captions, creatives, scheduling. Media buyers, you can spend anywhere from $300 to $500 per client, or you can do a straight up 50% rev share. Virtual assistants, you can get really, really good virtual assistants for $5 per hour. Appointment setters, you can spend from anywhere. Usually these are performance based. So appointment setters and closers are usually working off performance. You can pay anywhere from $50 to $100 per booked appointment in your calendar. Closers, usually you're giving 10% per close to your closers. And for a good operations manager, you can pay around $2,000 per month. So in and around that. Obviously, the bigger your agency, the more you're going to pay, because the more clients they're going to have to handle. The smaller your agency, maybe the less you're going to have to pay. But for a good ops manager, I'd say a good ballpark figure is $2,000 per month. And you always want to do a trial run before making a final hire. Really, really important. I've got burnt on this in the past, and I had to learn the hard way, because if you don't do a trial one, you really, really don't actually realize how good a person is or how a person works from like a character, culture fit, and their technical ability once they get in the company. That is when you're really going to find out who they are and how they actually operate. So you want to do what's called a trial week. During the trial week, you want to set a baseline KPI standard for your potential team member and give them a week to see how they perform. This should be a reduced version of what you're actually going to expect once they come into the company, but set clear expectations that the trial week can only be approved if the test standard is fulfilled. So let's take an appointment setter, for example. Let's say your KPI is daily, or you have to do 100 outreaches, you have to send 5 Calendly links, and you have to book 1 appointment on their trial week. So at the end of the trial week, you can look back on their numbers, and if they haven't hit those KPIs, it's very, very easy to sit down and have a conversation and say, look, so this is what was expected of you, this is what was executed, and this is what we need to discuss, whether they, surpassed expectations, they didn't meet expectations, maybe they have feedback for you. So really, really important to do a trial week so you can actually get a feel for how this person works, because if you don't do that, you could end up getting burned. So getting to 10K per month, let's get into how getting to 10K per month is actually not as hard as you might think. The journey isn't about luck, it's about numbers, strategy, and grit. As we go through the numbers, you'll see how each outreach strategy and each call can bring you closer to that 10K per month milestone. So let's get into the numbers. Let's look at a conservative approach. Let's say we take 6 months to reach our goal of 10K. The aim here is to be realistic and grounded so we can generate results predictably and in a specific time frame. So in most outreach campaigns, you'll typically see the following baseline, although this can vary from niche to niche. 2% of outreach results in calls. Now this can go to 3%, 4%, 5%. It really depends on how high quality your outreach is. And usually 30% of those calls result in closes. So in terms of messaging, let's take this example. 20 businesses per day, 100 per week, and 400 per month. That would mean we would get these results. 2 calls per week, 8 calls per month, and 2 to 3 clients closed per month. So that's 400 touch points of outreach at a 2% call booking rate and at a 30% close rate would result in 2 to 3 clients closed per month. Fast forward 6 months and you've got 6 times $1,500. That's 3 closes at $500 each per month, totaling $9,500, plus add 2 upsell clients at $750 each, and voila, you're at a rounded figure of $11,000. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, I'm assuming for the purpose of this that you have no churn and all of your clients stay with you. Yes, I am, but I do believe that evens out at the fact that this is so conservative. Like, we're doing 400 outreach touch points per month. You could do that per day if you wanted. Like, that is so conservative. So whilst we're not factoring in churn, I do believe because the outreach numbers were so conservative, it's kind of evening out. But like, look at that. Like, that's really as simple as you have to make it. That is over 6 months how you could get to a 10K per month agency. And it's really just about putting in the work and putting in the numbers and just staying consistent and getting up every single day and creating really good habits with outreach. So there you go. You've got yourself a 6-figure agency and now you're in a solid position to begin delegating your outreach to commission-only sales reps, appointment setters, and grow even more. But we're not done yet. We're going to actually look at an ambitious approach also. So let's aim a little bit higher over the next 6 months. We're sticking with the same percentages and the same KPIs, but we're doubling our outreach method. So now we're doing 40 businesses per day, 200 per week, and 800 per month. So with these increased efforts, our estimate looks like this: 4 calls per week, 16 calls per month, and 6 clients closed per month. So based off our baseline, we're going to go back and look at our numbers. That's 6 times $3,000, which is 18K. That's 6 closes at $500 each per month. Realize, like, we're talking about $500 each. You could be charging 1K, 1.5K, 2K. We're doing $500, which is still very conservative. But if we added 5 ads clients onto that at $750 each, that rounds off at about 18K plus 3.75K at 21.75K. And if that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will. Just to go over that again, we're doing 4 calls per week, 16 calls per month, 6 clients closed per month. And that's from 40 businesses per day, outreach to 200 per week, 800 per month. And that gives us 6 times $3,000, which is 6 clients closed every single month times 500, 3K. And then that gives us 18K at the end of 6 months. So a lot of numbers there, but just go over this slowly, go back over it and try and understand what I'm saying. But this just shows you the massive opportunity here. If you're consistent with outreach, outreach is simply a numbers game. If you are constantly outreaching every single day, you're hitting your KPIs, you're getting your volume in, you're improving, you're getting better at sales, this can't not work. It's literally just a numbers game. I really want to emphasize that. This is absolutely guaranteed if you get up every single day and put the work in. So what to take away? The lesson here is to follow the numbers. Outreach can get tiresome, monotonous, it can get boring, but if you are repeating it every single day and it's literally a habit, it's a non-negotiable habit that you're going to do every single day, no matter what. It's like making your bed, it's like getting dressed, it's like getting a shower. If you're doing your outreach every single day, your efforts will compound and you will get exponential results. So keep that in mind. I've given you the tools in this course to go and make this reality. With this course, you can literally go out and start landing clients immediately. Now it's just about going and putting in the work. At the start of this course, we talked about, are you person A or person B? Person A and person B both have the same knowledge, they both have the same resources, but one gets clients and one doesn't. One is successful and one isn't. So what person are you going to be? Are you going to put in the work? Are you going to execute? Are you going to go after the life you've always wanted? Or are you going to procrastinate? Are you going to BS? Are you going to not do anything and kind of go on to the next thing and look at the next video and mess around? What's it going to be? It's really down to how much you want to put in this work and how much you want to get results and how much you want to build the life of your dreams. So you're probably asking yourself, where do I go from here? You've just hit me with a ton of information. If we're talking about foundations, we're talking about agency build out, we're talking about software, sales, client acquisition, ads, service delivery, scaling, outreach. You're hitting me with so much information. Where do I actually go from here? What do I do right now to go out and get results? Well, you could watch more of my content on YouTube. If you wanted to go it alone, you could go out there, you could start outreaching, you could start, trying your hand at different methods, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, make some mistakes, burn some cash, try and sort of bootstrap your way up and, keep pushing the boat out and keep trying and trying and trying. Or if you want my help, you could apply below in the description and see if you qualify for my paid community, my mentorship program, which is application only. We only work with so many people per month and we get some incredible results. So it's totally up to you. And there's nothing wrong with going down the free route. That's what I did when I started my agency journey. Now, I did see exponential growth when I invested in myself and invested in a program which gave me the tools and resources and kind of was a done for you model in terms of the path I need to walk. But it's up to you. If you want to go it alone, you can take the time, you can make the mistakes, you can burn the cash, or you can bypass all of that, skip through all of that, and rapidly scale your agency. So how do we rapidly scale people's agencies in the program? So you get one-to-one access to me. So it's very, very different to a lot of the programs out there where you're just kind of thrown into a course and made do. You get one-to-one access to me. I give you the exact steps on how to grow your agency, what I did to get to 20K per month in less than 90 days. And we do that on our 60-minute agency roadmap call. That's literally where we build out everything: your offer, your niche, your outreach systems, your sales systems, your operation management. Really, really important. We do that on the 60-minute agency roadmap call. Then you have a 60-minute go high level build out call with one of my team members, my go high level expert, where you discuss how you're going to leverage go high level, not only for your clients, but for your agency. You also have a 60-minute sales system build-out call with my head of sales, where you talk about things like your close rate, your sales systems, how you can improve your sales ability, how you can close more clients. Really, really important. As we discussed, sales is one of the most vital components of the whole agency model. So really, really important that you really, really sharpen up your sales ability. Then we look at paid ad systems build-out. So as we discussed earlier in the course, you really want to get to 3 to 5 clients as soon as possible, because then you want to start running paid ads for lead gen. And that just makes everything so much easier because you have guaranteed booked appointments in your calendar every single day. So I show you exactly how you build out your paid ad system. You also get access to a mastermind community with 100+ agency owners where you can network, you can get accountability partners, you can join the calls. Really, really great community we have going. We also have weekly coaching calls on Facebook ads, sales, go high level, AI, systems, infrastructure, where you can learn about how to build a 6-figure agency. You get full access to my team, my media buyers, my virtual assistants, my social media managers. And if I don't have a team member that you need, I will go out and do a done for you hiring process where I will find that team member. You also get access to my own case studies to use as testimonials for when you're trying to land clients. And you get access to all of my different programs. I have an agency accelerator program, a go high level program, a self-development program, an AI program, which have multiple modules, lessons, and resources for you to master all of these different facets of running an agency. And this offer has literally taken me years to build out. I don't know another offer that is in the market like this, and it has taken me years to build. So this should be getting you really, really excited if you're looking to grow your agency, because it is a phenomenal opportunity to scale your agency fast. But don't take my word for it. Here's Shane, who scaled past 20K per month in the program. Here's Kevin, who scaled to 12K in the program. Here's Isaiah, who landed 5 clients in 1 week inside Agency Accelerator. Here's Walter, who scaled to 9K per month. Here's Niall, who scaled to 4K per month and was able to move abroad and run his agency whilst traveling. And I could go on and on here, but I don't want to waste too much more of your time. The decision is all yours. And if you don't want to go down the route of the program or the mentorship, I have given you all the tools you need to go out and land your first 3 to 5 clients in this course. So the decision is all yours. Do you want to be person A or do you want to be person B? Do you want to take this knowledge, take this information and go out and build the life of your dreams? Or are you going to procrastinate and keep doing how everyone else does, watch this video and kind of, not do what you know you need to do? Put in the work and execute and change your habits, change your life and build the life you want. So the decision is all yours. I've given you the information, I've given you the tools. So let's see what decision you go with. So huge congratulations if you've made it this far in the video. I really appreciate you watching my content and hopefully you found some of that really valuable. If you do want to work one-to-one with me, just hit the link in the bio. If you'd rather just use the teachings in this video to go out there and land clients, be my guest. I look forward to seeing your wins. So hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next video.